Abasiraamu bandiwalirizibwa okwekolera ku nsonga z'okunoonya ababatta oba gavumenti ne poliisi balemereddwa.
Naye tetujja kuteeka gavumenti ku nninga okukakasa tyekuma bannayuganda n'ebyabwe. Bw'eteekikole ejja kuba etuleetedde obuzibu bunene nnyo kubanga abantu bajja kwekyawa essaawa eyo eneetera senga gavumenti n'ebitongole byayo ebikuumaddembe tebisitukiramu.
Embeera mu kusabira omugenzi Kirya ku kasozi Kibuli ebadde yakuyungula amaziga wamu n'abamu okweswanta.
Kubwa amasasi abadde ali ne banne nga bajjaganya ku kitebe kya FDC ekisangibwa ku luguudo lw'Entebe. Abadde omu ku bawagizi ba Kizza Besigye abadde bazze okulaga obuwagizi gy'ali ng'asunsulwamu okusobola okuvuganya kwani anaakwatira ekibiina kya FDC bendera mu kulonda kwa bonna okujja. Akubiddwa amasasi abiri ng'erimu limukutte ku kibegabega songa eddala mu kisambi.
Babadde bagenda kujja kuwandiisa nga bava Kampala bajja bakumba mpola mu mirembe awatali tabbu yonna ne bamukuba essasi ne batukwana tiya gaasi ng'ate lwasabye poliisi yatukkiriza.
Asiimwe amateeka gateekwa okumukolako.
Olwo ekikoleddwa omusirikale amanyiddwako eryasiimwe ng'ono yatwala poliisi y'omu Ndeeba kiwaliriza bannakibiina okuva mu mbeera. Oluvannyuma lw'eddakiika nga 10 nga twali mmotoka yonna eriwo okutwala muntu ono mu ddwaliro banne bamwetiisa okumutwala mu ddwaliro okusobola okutaasa obulamu bwe. Wabula waliwo omuzirakisa abajunye era bw'atyo Bbaale n'ateekebwa mu mmotoka n'atwalibwa mu ddwaliro Ensambya. Banna FDC bano beeyongedde okuva mu mbeera era ng'atwala poliisi y'omu maserengeta ga Kampala Siraje Bakaleke yalozezza ku bukambwe bwabwe. Oluvannyuma embeera ezze mu nteeko era Besigye n'asunsulwamu wadde nga tabaddeewo ng'asembeddwa amyuka pulezidenti w'ekibiina mu masekkati ga Uganda Joyce Ssebuggwawo.
I do hereby declare Dr. Warren Kizza Besigye as a duly nominated candidate.
Abakakasa nti omulundi guno ekikolebwa kijja kukolebwa tulabe nga tutwala obuyinza.
Olunaku lw'enkya Major General Mugisha Muntu lwagenda okusunsulwamu olubatandike kakuyege eri bannakibiina. Okulonda kwani anaakwatira FDC bendera mu kalulu ka 2016 kwa kubaawo ku ntandikwa y'omwezi gwa Septemba. Julius Senkandwa, NTV.
NTV akawungeza ekyagenda mu maaso ku ddakiika 2 ezise ku ssaawa emu katuumulemu katono tukomawo. Ebyapa Museveni bye yaddiza Mengo bituusiddwa mu Buganda Land Board batandise okubyekenneenya. Ate mu UPC abawagira Jima Akena bataddewo Tabamiruka ow'amangu bamukakasizza ng'omukulembeze w'ekibiina.
Bw'oluwuliza nnyo waliwo Tena Voice.
Kulabako oli wala oli obwongo suula eddalu.
Kulabako oli wala oli obwongo. Wegamba Tena nze namuwa Kampala.
Enjayi tetamiiza. Bano abaana buno bulaba batamiiza enjayi baba bongeddeko bintu birala.
Bw'ogaana okumanya atalina kyamanyi akubuulira kyonna kyayagala ate era n'okikkiriza.
Oli ayinza okutandika n'agamba Selassie
ng'aleeta omugwa ng'asiba nze ne munnange nga tukka wansi.
Omukulu oyo yennyini
yesebo n'atandika okuleeta ekidomola n'atuggisamu essaati n'atwokya.
Obanga wakatuuka mu kitundu n'okola ebintu ebyewuunyisa bagamba ono omwana eyakajja tubadde wano myaka 3
ayagala tulengezza
okitegeera.
Omuntu asobola okujja ku dduuka n'akuloga n'akusimbira omutima gwita dduuka ekibabu.
Awo kati saamanyawo.
Kiki kyolowooza ne Samona?
Otyo mu kitundu ekisoose ndese mbuuziza kiki ekirala poliisi kyayinza okukola okutangira ettemu erikolebwa ku basiraamu oba oliawo n'okukwata abalikola. balinya look police esibe ku bannabyabufuzi ne balemesa okwetaaya nereka okuwa abantu ba bulijjo obukuumi so bambega erina bangi n'abajaasi mutebitwaha poliisi eyitiriza okutugamba nti abatujju bayingidde eggwanga nze amagezi gempa buli omu abeera embega wa munne ne Lutalo Dickson ndowooza poliisi etadde nnyo amaanyi ku byobufuzi okusinga okukuuma abantu ba bulijjo.
Samona Hair Relaxer ne Samona Hair Food asangibwa wonna. Jukira endabika yo kyekitiibwa kyo.
Weewaawo James Akena alayiziddwa ku kifo ky'omukulembeze wa Uganda People's Congress UPC. Ono era yagenda okukwatira ekibiina kino bendera mu kulonda okwa bonna okwa 2016. Bino bibadde mutabamiruka wa UPC abaddewo olwaleero e Lugogo. Okulonda kuno abatakkiriziganya ne Akena bo tebakwetabyeemu.
Do solemnly swear by the Almighty God that I haven't been elected the president of UPC, so help me God.
Banna UPC bazimudde ekiragiro kya Olara Otunu kye yateekawo mwezi nga gumu emabega nga kyongezaayo okutuuza ttabamiruka w'ekibiina kino. Olukiiko luno olubaddemu bakansala ba UPC, ababaka ba paalamenti abava mu UPC, ko n'abamu ku bammemba abali ku lukiiko olufuzi olwa UPC basize kimu nga nkuyege ne balonda James Akena ku bwa ssenkulu bw'ekibiina.
Tulabye nti no eruyi zombi zoogedde. Their voices have been heard. Naye democracy is the rule of majority over the minority. Kati majority bakkiriza nti no eyalondebwa unopposed bakimalirize leero tebalina budde bwakudda wano.
Bano bategeezezza ng'obudde bwe bubadde buweddeyo obw'okulonderamu abakulembeze baabwe mu kibiina.
Ekiseera kya Olara Otunu kooti yatugamba yaggwako ali de facto. Ne bagamba as soon as elections take place he will have to hand in office.
James Akena abadde abuganya essanyu agambye nti tewali kikyamu kyonna kikoleddwa banna UPC okumugonnomolako obuyinza bw'okuddukanya ekibiina.
The Congress of the People. Ekitongole ekivunaanyizibwa ku ttaka lya Buganda ki Buganda Land Board kitandise okwekenneenya ebyapa ekinaana Pulezidenti Museveni bye yaddiza Mengo olunaku olwajjo. Tubadde twogeraganya n'abakulu abaddukanya ekitongole kino ne batubuulira okusoomoozebwa kwe balimu ennaku zino.
Olunaku lw'eggulo Pulezidenti Museveni yaddiza obwakabaka bwa Buganda ebyapa kinaana. Bino byabadde mu maka g'obwa Pulezidenti Entebbe era nga Katikkiro Charles Peter Mayiga ye yabikwasiddwa. Olwaleero ebyapa bino bikwasiddwa ekitongole kya Buganda Land Board. Bano Ssaabasajja Kabaka be yakwasa obuvunaanyizibwa ku nsonga z'ettaka lya Buganda.
Oweekitiibwa Katikkiro yataddeko omukono, nange nenteekako omukono, nange nsaba Ssenkulu wa Buganda Land Board naawe ssebo
bagenda okwekenneenya ebyapa ebibaweereddwa nga bwe babigeraageranya n'ettaka eryogerwako okulaba nti byonna bikwatagana bulungi.
Kaakati n'okulabira ddala bano kye bagenda okukola nti ddala nga bwe baatuwadde olukalala ekyapa ekyo muno mwekiri si weewaawo kuba ayinza okuba ate ngeri tekiri.
Kyokka bagamba nti kuno kwandigiddeko ensimbi okuva mu gavumenti kuba omulimu oguboolekedde gwetaagisa ensimbi nnyingi.
Singa tubadde nga kitongole kya gavumenti oyo byandize nga bijjirako ne granti ey'okubiteekateeka n'okuteekateeka abantu abaliko. Kino kitegeeza ki? Tuvunaanyizibwa ng'Obwakabaka okusala amagezi okunoonya ensimbi ate okulambika ebintu bino bisobole okugasa Obwakabaka.
Ebyapa 2012 bye byaddizibwa Buganda omwaka oguwedde era nga bagamba mu kulondola ettaka ery'ebyapa ebyabaweebwa balina gye basanze ng'abaliriko beefunirako ebyapa eby'ekicupule. Irene Namyalo, NTV.
Oti okuva emitiyana tutegedde wala amasomero 24 ab'obuyinza ge bagadde. Amasomero gano gasangiddwa nga tegali ku mutindo gumatiza.
Ekikwekweto kino kyakoleddwa mu magombolola okuli Buleera, Maanyi wamu ne Ssekanyonyi. Era ekikwekweto kyakulembeddwamu akulira ebyenjigiriza emitiyana Lawrence Kamya ng'ayambibwako abasirikale ba poliisi.
Kikkirizibwa administration yange nga tuyinza okufuna obuzibu tuwagala nnyo twagala nnyo abaana baffe basome naye embeera gye bagenza okusomeramu.
NTV, turning on your world.
Stay closer for longer. 12 hours fresh breath with close-up deep action. Discover the new look of close-up deep action. Your refreshing close-up now in a new look.
Program guide.
And the change of government won't stop a thing. I've run out of fingers counting the number of multinationals setting up here. What about the 3 companies that announced their plans to launch last week? I say they're shortly. Me, I'd be looking to sell. At what price? More. Much, much more. I don't know who you are or how you know these things, but one thing I'm sure of, you're in the wrong job. Here, call me tomorrow at 9 o'clock in the morning. I'd like to hear more from you.
Are you ready for your big break? The East African, understanding the region.
Watching Morning at NTV.
Well, some people say that that's how life is. It gets too close to you and you certainly do not know what to do. But as the day opens up, you start to see everything clearly. Like the cars in the streets and the lights and everything that you need to be exposed to. That's what morning is all about, making sure that we get you started on the show. My name is Brian Nondo, Simon Kasete, Joel Senyonyi, Mwetejerize are all here to make sure that this is the most perfect Throwback Thursday. Doreen Kanyasije gets us started with designing your destiny.
Hi, my name is Doreen.
Calvin Coolidge once said that nothing can take the place of persistence. Now, Salvador, I'm interested in knowing, you're a very funny person, but I'm very sure that there's certain times when you have very challenging things that you're dealing with. How do you maintain that mental toughness, that inner grit to keep pursuing your goals?
It's all about focus.
Yes.
Focus and focus.
Focus.
Nothing else. If when you're focused, you will know what to prioritize. Comedy depends on your emotions. And when you are sad, it can easily show. Sometimes you just block the thought of sadness.
Really?
However deep it is, you just block the sadness. Like, for example, last year we did a show called Africa Loves, where we bring all these international comedians and we blah, blah, blah. Everything was going on well until the day of the show.
Sure.
Show is supposed to start at 7 o'clock, gets open at 6:30, show starts at 7 with the DJ, then the 8, the actual show. So 6 o'clock, police comes and locks the hall that we hadn't gotten clearance, security clearance from them. So I ran down to police and, you know, we started dilly-dallying. At the same time, the sound setup had not yet been complete, stage setup had not yet been complete. People had started arriving.
Yeah.
And by the time we finished with police, it was about 7:30. So when they opened the hall, the sound guys were like, we need another 2 hours.
Oh dear.
Now all those frustrations came at the worst of times, but somehow I managed to block all that, because when I was on stage, nobody even thought I had gone through a lot of stress. But after the show, I went back to my hotel room and I was like, why?
Wow. Yes.
That is when you now start to reflect and you start to feel sorry for yourself.
Yeah.
But you never let it show when you're sick. So it's all about focus. When you're focused, you can easily prioritize.
Yes.
And that's all it takes.
That is very, very fundamental. Have a key goal that you're focusing on, and make sure that you block out any other thing that will derail you from achieving that goal.
You may have your plans,
Yes.
but somebody else has plans for you.
For you.
So it depends on you. How determined are you to follow your plans?
Yes.
If I'm to perform, if I know I'm going to perform today at 6 o'clock, and then something bad, that is emotion, happens at 4 o'clock.
Yes.
Somehow I have to find a way of blocking that out, do my show, and then now grieve after. Because now I will have plans for that. But if I don't have that focus and determination, there's no way I will have that.
Salvador, you have been featured in Vogue magazine, CNN, you've hosted the CAF Awards, and you've traveled the world. Now, tomorrow, we're interested in finding out what are your key success habits. Because as Jim Rohn once said, success does leave clues. And so it's imperative for us to find out what the successful man from Mbokolo is doing in order for us to model after him and for us to also be a very huge success in our endeavors. So join us tomorrow. Thank you for watching.
That's Doreen Kanyesuje every morning at 7:03 a.m. Make sure you catch that for your daily bit of inspiration here on Morning at NTV. Later on the show, we'll be talking to some representatives from Bank of Uganda on the ever-increasing and escalating depreciation of the Ugandan shilling against the dollar. So you need to catch that at 8 o'clock sharp. And of course, on Everyday Life, I'll be talking with renowned, inspirational and motivational speaker Jonathan Cooley from Kenya. You don't want to miss that. We'll be talking a little bit about how Christians can be present in the marketplace. That's going to be an interesting talk there on Everyday Life. But for now, Mabel, you have the latest on the stories that are making headlines this morning. And the front page of the Daily Monitor screaming here, a tragic Wednesday, the shooting of the Muslim cleric, and of course an accident on Massacre Road. Tell us more what is making headlines. Good morning.
To you, Brian, and indeed motions ran high during prayers at Chibuli Mosque that were held for the slain Sheikh and publicist of the Chibuli Muslim faction, Hassan Kiria, who was gunned down the other night in Bweyogerere on his way home. Inspector General of Police General Cleric was remorseful, saying police is not to blame for not doing enough to safeguard the cleric. Kiria had earlier on warned that he was amongst those targeted for assassination. Kiria was later laid to rest at Nkowe, Wakiso district, a Muslim burial ground.
This is Sheikh Hassan Kiria, the spokesperson of Chivuli faction, when he was still alive. One of the leading luminaries who spoke with fiery oratory, even when faced with death. Today, Sheikh Kiria lies motionless. However, in the archetypal pattern, the assassins struck their victim, isolated him, pulled the trigger with the precision of a marksman, and fled on a motorcycle. This happened at about 10:45 p.m. in the full glare of the public at a crowded suburb in Bweyogerere. He stopped here to buy fruits on his way home. According to eyewitnesses, two men who were on a new motorcycle without a number plate shot at Kiria twice in the chest, killing him on the spot a few meters away from his car.
I heard a sound of a bullet. When we came to see what was going on, I saw the sheikh and he was shot dead at that time. But there is a trailer which was coming from Chireka, heading to Mukono. They tried to flash where the sheikh was, and those people who were with a gun, who were shooting the sheikh, they turned to the trailer and they shoot.
They could have monitored that he was all by himself. So he was in a very vulnerable situation on his own. This shows you that the threats against the sheikhs are actually still there. Their enemies are still outside there.
This is one of the bullets found on the scene of crime, used in an AK-47 type of gun. Also recovered at the scene were his broken spectacles. At Chivuli Mosque, where Sheikh Kiria was a publicist, the Muslim fraternity woke up to the shocking news of another slain sheikh, bringing the numbers to 9. A dark cloud hovered over Chivuli Mosque at Kiria's kindred, gathered here to eulogize him. At around 11 a.m., the ambulance carrying the remains of a man described as a peace-loving and fearless arrived. Many mourners could not hold back their tears as his body was taken to what was once his office. Journalists who often called him for a comment were also overcome by emotions. The radical preacher, Sheikh Muzata, did not mince his words, blaming the police for abdicating their role.
mugende mumubulayizinge kyemwagala IPP tukikole tandika n'olwaliro tumubulayizinge onookyagala eggwanga temujja liddukamu naye omuntu n'abeerawo omuntu omu nadda mu kutumanyiira kiyimba wava luddawo olyoka ofuuka omuntu tubadde naawe nakasero nga baagala kutemako mukono tubadde naawe ng'engatto z'abantu bazikujja mu buveera ogenda nazo kati wafuuka ddi omunene kiyimba.
Muzata fired a salvo at Nsanji chairperson Ibrahim Chimba, who was amongst those in the congregation. Chimba was escorted out as the crowds heckled him. Speaking on behalf of the government, the second deputy prime minister, Moses Ali, asked the Muslim faithful to remove the regime they are blaming through a ballot box.
Problems of Muslims should be done through negotiation, not killing. People should sit down and resolve the problem of Muslims. This is his belief.
After, Inspector General of Police General Kali Kayura was the last speaker of the day, who was contrite. After the speeches, the Muslims prayed for their fallen colleague. Chiria's body was then taken to the Muslim burial grounds in Nkowe, Wachiso on Hoima Road, where he was laid to rest.
The question that remains unanswered is as to why are they murdering the Muslims? And of course, it's the police that will have the answer to that. However, without the answers, the Muslim Brotherhood will always remain between the devil and the deep sea. Sudhir Yarhanga, NTV.
Born in June 1966 to the late Haji Hassan Waswa Sesanga and Hajat Nur Nakaiza of Nakawa, Kampala, Sheikh Ibrahim Hassan Kiria rose through the ranks of the Muslim fraternity based in Chibuli. Later, he became spokesperson of the Chibuli Muslim faction. Kiria attended Entebbe Quran School, Masanga, Chireka Umea, Bilal Islamic School, Waise, and later completed his higher studies from Sudan. In 2000, he became the head of the Ugandan branch of Munazamat Al-Dawa, an international religious organization based in the Sudanese capital Khartoum that aims at spreading Islam. In 2006, alongside others, Sheikh Kiria broke ranks with the mainstream Muslim leadership based in Old Kampala. It was over the dubious sale of Muslim property. They refused to be led by Mufti Mubaje, who they blamed for the sale of the properties. Sheikh Kiria then formed the Chibuli Muslim faction. He is survived by 3 wives and several children. Moving on still on that story, as the unresolved question of who exactly is after the lives of Muslim clerics remains, Muslim leaders who have been targeted are vowing not to waver in defense of their faith. The vow was made by acting Supreme Mufti Sheikh Mahmoud Chibate and Sheikh Haruna Jemba as they joined thousands of mourners at Sheikh Hassan Kiria's funeral. Francis Jingo reports that the clerics also expressed frustration with the manner security agencies are handling their security.
When Sheikh Bahiga was murdered, I met Sheikh Kiria here at Chibuli, and he was confident and firm that he was ready to die because of his religion.
But they are doing that because we are serving Islam. And so long as they are threatening us or they are planning to kill us because of that, then one day we shall meet.
Sheikh Ibrahim Hassan Kiria spoke to NTV soon after the murder of another Sheikh Mustafa Bahiga, who was gunned down at Webaja Mosque on Kampala-Entebbe Highway in December last year.
Haji Najib Sonko is one of those. Haji Ahmad Al-Bega is one of those. The Deputy Supreme Mufti Sheikh Mahmoud Chibate is one of those. The Amirul Ummah Dr. Haruna Jemba is one of them.
At the time, Kiria demanded that all Muslim leaders whose lives were under threat be given round-the-clock protection. The police obliged and gave him and others officers to guard them.
We tried to contact the police and we informed them that really there are some threats that some of us are really, our life is in danger. We are just only waiting to see who is coming next.
But those interested in Sheikh Kiria's life lay in wait and finally executed a dastardly act on Tuesday night. Acting Supreme Mufti at the Kibuli Muslim faction, Sheikh Muhammad Kibate and Sheikh Haruna Jemba, who recently survived assassination, attended the prayers in honor of their colleague Kiria at Kibuli Mosque. The two vowed to defend the Muslim faith, even if it means dying for it.
Kubanga tugisuubirira tugirindiridde bulindiririzi.
Kiria Allah musaasire naffe atunyweze era tujja kgenda mu maaso n'eddawa yaffe era tukyali bagumu insha Allah paka anaasembayo. Bwe mba nze nzirako olwaleero akawungeezi mujje nkya mukole ki? Munziike, no problem. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
In apparent frustration, titular head of Muslims in the country, Prince Kasim Nachibinge Kakunguru, said Muslims will be forced to investigate the killings if the police can't satisfactorily do so.
But we are talking about 5 sheikhs gunned down in a period of 6 months. This is alarming, and the government should wake up and take heed.
Sheikh Kiria's murder deepens the mystery on who is killing Muslims in the country. Jingo Francis, NTV.
The death of Sheikh Hassan Kiria continues to spawn conspiracy theories. As details of his shooting continue to emerge, what remains baffling is why his bodyguard was not by his side at the time of his death. Police claims Kiria had barely dropped off his bodyguard at a police barracks before he drove to Weogerere, where he was shot. However, according to police and security experts, the bodyguard broke a cardinal duty of his assignment.
Bodyguarding is as old as history. For hundreds of years, high-profile figures have used personal protectors to avert assassinations. Many, such as kings, popes, and the wealthy, procured guards for their safety. Up to date, the trend has followed the thread. According to police, this is not a right to only those who enjoy the trappings of power, but all citizens whose life could be in danger.
There are those specific requests that do come to the Inspector General of Police, and he assesses the degree of threat and can use a committee to assess the magnitude of that threat, and then you are accorded or your application is dropped.
The Uganda Police Force has got the very important Person Protection Unit, which is responsible for protecting largely high-profile figures. When there were a number of murders where Muslim clerics were killed, the unit provided bodyguards to those who were targeted. However,
also a tragic accident there. We're going to look at that. The red paper is screaming with an interesting headline, blood, and seem to have graphics that show that blood is indeed dripping. That's coming up as we take a look at the red paper and the Daily Monitor. Good morning. It's the second day of July 2015. It's morning at NTV. Welcome to the press review this morning. Simon Kasiate and Joel Senyonyi. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Good morning, Seju Samateke.
What's that?
Checkered court.
Oh yes, that part, especially the part where you park a G55 AMG Mercedes-Benz outside. That's the Sejusa swag.
I told you when he was arrested the other day in that skirmish from Ginger Road, where he was taking Ginger Road police station, and he was calling all of you, Mujay, Bantwara, hey, man.
No one was coming.
Yeah, but he stepped out of a G class.
No, you sounded like Father Guitar. You remember that clip?
No, but General Sejusa stepped out of a G class. I'll tell you something. When I own one like that, I can as well step forward and say this government is full of you know what.
Befriend him. He has a couple of them. I hope they are his.
Especially when history has it that he had nothing to himself except the clothes he was wearing. When he entered into that police cell and escaped in there together with the current Minister of Information and National Guidance and went to the bush. 30 years down the road, the government is a crappy government, but he's got a G55 AMG.
What, government gave them to him?
Scores of children. No, he worked extremely very hard. I mean, what do you expect? Coordinator of National Security? He possibly, his salary was about 7 times that of the MD of ESCOM, for example. I mean, who knows? All I know is that the top government official earns the most, who is the president, earns about 5 million shillings Uganda, 5 million Ugandan shillings per month.
Yeah.
So how the coordinator of security services, the
juniors earn more. Bank of Uganda governor
can afford cars of
million.
700 million Ugandan shillings in a state where they are in dissolence, or even have friends that can lend them such cars for city skirmishes? I would love to. When I grow up, I want to be like them.
I want to have their friends.
Oh yeah, true. I want to be their friend.
All right, well, we have an interesting headline today, Tragic Wednesday. Of course, the story of Sheikh Kiria.
What's interesting about that headline?
But the word interesting is not necessarily positive.
Good. Yeah.
Can have an innuendo attached to it.
Right.
Thank you, English. So this is what now? Interesting in what sense?
We should pick interest in the story.
In the story.
So, I think
from Sheikh Kiria, who is on the front page of every newspaper, one of
and
the
has
dailies.
made the 30 minutes of your bulletin.
Yes, one of the dailies saying that, bringing out also why the cleric was killed. We don't know how they know yet, the police didn't know, so I don't know how that works. But implication of this, and we just watched another sheikh who says, I don't know if I'm the next this evening, but if I'm the next, come and bury me. Is this going to stop
Well, he spoke that yesterday, and I want to believe he's still alive.
Yes, he's still alive.
Okay. Let's go into some lighter-hearted things. Let's talk about heart-to-heart today in the Daily Monitor. You
Are
guys
you
talk about the
kidding me?
serious things.
No.
Jumped all the way to page number.
Let's first deal with it.
Let's get out of all these tragic stories. There's many others. Then we end on a light note. I'm looking forward to this bit. Kidding out of the way.
Do you know what? I mean, this, by the way, could be a recipe for trouble, where co-wives are friends. This, for me, is a recipe for murder. By the time co-wives are friends, who unto the husband? Because, I mean, when they hatch a plot against you, this is it. So here in Heart to Heart magazine this morning, we are seeing two ladies who are wives to a one Rashid Eton. Mark the name. A local council chairman in the Horo district.
But that's allowed.
But I just said mark the name. And tomorrow, but they are co-wives. No, I'm not insinuating anything. I want to say, in Heart to Heart magazine, it is possible.
But you see, look, look, I might be misconstrued.
And wait a minute, this comes on the back of the recent inferno in Zambia police barracks. And then you journalists brought to us the sad reality of the fact that there was this police officer who has his two wives in the same
That guy is unbelievable.
Exactly, and I'm simply asking you, Joey.
Is he unbelievable, or
he's
it's the women who have decided to stay together?
Exactly. Well, that's the other bit, but I'm talking about the guy. He's, I don't know, I find it too exotic.
Why
You're a police officer, I don't know how much you earn. You're putting these two wives and I don't know how many children in a small uniport, and who does
There's
that?
a man somewhere in another village who does not
earn less than 2 million Uganda
and have
shillings, but they have properties worth billions of shillings. Ask yourself, how do they...
That's another story altogether.
No. So. It is the same way how you are able, as Kazinda, to have a salary of 2 million Uganda shillings, and you have only worked for less than 20 years, and you have endowments worth billions of shillings. It's the same way.
No, but at least for this policeman, he didn't have anything to his name. I think the biggest,
He's a police officer. He has two wives in the same uniport. One, the state has subsidized his cost of accommodation. He doesn't pay rent in those places. He has got power. Do you know what it means to be a police officer and you're wearing a police uniform? And then...
I think his biggest asset was mourning about was a mountain bike.
Exactly.
I saw that story. He was disconsolate over his mountain bicycle. I said, okay.
Exactly. And this is two wives that survived, so he has something to cling on.
Ideally, men have, when someone sees you with two women, they will not be very shocked. Because
but when they see a woman with I don't know how many women...
Should we say it is the women that are confused for allowing to stay in this small uniport, two women?
Why are you being judgmental over them?
No, all of you are blaming the man. I'm just choosing to...
No, for me, I'm looking at the man.
Listen, I am
well, the women too, I think.
For that man. How he pulls off that feat. I mean, listen, Brian, you know the challenges of this whole situation. You are even unable to maintain two of them across two oceans. This guy has them in the same uniport, not even a house. How he pulls that off...
Kudos to the man.
That is a man who is worth a PhD thesis. I can tell you.
Go away.
There is no single war in this world that is more vicious than the war that will come out of that uniport.
Some guy who has two wives told me that, you see, Joel, when you have one wife, she fights with you. When you have two wives, they fight for you.
That's good.
And he did this. I said, okay. But look, there's a story that disturbed me yesterday. You know the way social media operates nowadays. Interestingly, the president said only fools are doing some of these things. You saw that, it was making the rounds of the massacre accident. People are saying, look, 56 people have died. I don't know, 158 have gotten injured. And it was all over the place. And I'm saying, guys, stop being bloodthirsty. Only 3 people died, 38 injured. Even as of yesterday, that's what was confirmed.
Okay, yes,
but for some reason, we are bloodsuckers.
Yeah. Yes, and that's exactly what I told you about your friends on social media who you love to pander to. On social media, there, on Facebook, for example. That's why you'll find a person, and let me repeat this, who has never stepped on an airport tarmac to enter a plane. But guess what? He will passionately discuss and even challenge how to launch a rocket into orbit. In the
look, that's not to say that everybody uses social media the wrong way.
Should we blame the...
You call them pochipop?
I personally blame these breaking news sites that probably want...
Not sites, individuals. People must understand, to be a journalist,
no, but for example, the pictures I was sent...
and all that everyone be stoning unto themselves. I mean, look, I cannot
The pictures I was sent
I cannot go and start
funny
giving people
websites
sacraments.
With pictures.
I am a Catholic, very devout, yeah? But I cannot go and start all conferring sacraments. I cannot baptize. I cannot...
No, you must become, I think, a reverend.
Exactly. Now, for those of you who think that you want to become journalist simply because you've been fast at the scene, you will be as good as this character we are seeing who has given an eyewitness account over the killing of who? of this sheikh. You saw, you heard how he spoke. If that guy got an opportunity to type something on, you'll be typing.
Who says he has to type? Not necessarily. Look, social media is good. You know that you get some of this breaking news and the like. But you know, sometimes we like to blow it out of proportion and.
More interesting things here in the Daily Monitor, we are being told that let not politics ruin your relationship. And it's still in heart to heart. Yes. I mean, we need to get something a bit hearty. The world is depressing in its own right. Let's get something that light. But now, look, Joel, I know for a fact perhaps that's the reason you remain in total celibacy, because perhaps...
For now, yes.
Yeah, because of your involvement in politics, maybe. Who knows? I mean, but we are saying...
Do you want a woman that's interested in politics?
Now let's discuss things.
What's politics?
I'm asking
Joel.
Politics is the management of society.
Let's discuss the real thing.
Dictionarize this conversation.
Let's discuss the real thing. Right. Brian, you have a wife. And they are telling you this morning that let not politics ruin your marriage. And I'm asking you a real question. Do you and your wife always concur in terms of political dispensation?
No. And
how, to what extent has that divergence affected your relationship?
Absolutely none.
You don't count on that. 2016 is coming.
You think? Well, at least they agree on a couple of other things. They'll do adverts together. You know, they'll advocate for the rights of women and stuff like that. That's a good thing.
George, you need to get a wife.
Okay, I will. Some charlatan the other day was saying I should go online. Anyway,
General Tumukunde has
advocating for you. This is, we're now not even analog, we are digital.
General Tumukunde has begged the president to forgive him. And he says, I am ready to repent. This is according to the red paper.
Same script, different cast. We had that from Sejusa many years ago when he was quoting Yefuza saying, my name says I can't regret. Days later, he was screaming from the balcony of his Chengera house, begging the president to forgive him. The president forgave him, gave him another chance, and then now we are here into another skirmish. Soon he will be saying the same thing. So it's cyclical. It's cyclical. I'm not surprised by those statements coming in from General Tumukunde. But you know what, General Tumukunde is famed of, I mean, we call him Brigadier, but General, yes. You know what he's famed of when it comes to elections? So I hope he's forgiven sooner than later.
One of the dates made by the man who is the forgiver, this is President Museveni on sectarianism. He says, you will never get peace if you still believe in tribes like here, Batoro Basongola versus Bakonzo Bamba. I wish that list was a little bit extrapolated, but yeah, there you are. But what?
Baruri, Banyara. I don't want to have a problem with your friend Mogezi Butamanya.
Of course, you can be sued for defamation. That man's name is Mogezi Butamanya.
I have never seen a punctuation mark between his name. It's one name.
No, you can't combine.
But guess what? I love his spectacles. The man has got 5 kilograms. I respect
you are busy.
I'm describing him.
You're making fun of Joel.
No. If I were to write him.
Come on, I don't know that I care so much.
Joel, you're Munyana, that's it.
No, I'm Muruli.
I mean a Muruli. That's it.
So?
Yes.
I'm more Ugandan. I think for me that's what is more important. This
and many prominent guys from his place nobody spot a sidebar. You see it with the.
But even him, he has.
No,
the Baba messed it up. So the next time I go back, he will sort it out.
But the one of Mogezi Butamanya, you should see. The things are in little communities.
Regional news now. Central region, we are told court orders auctioning of immature fish. Then we are told thugs kill Kayunga couple. Bloodthirsty country it is. Western Uganda, Bishop quits Sako job of a loss of 200 million shillings.
You haven't said something about the politics of this country. Do you know that the president of the Uganda People's Congress is now the one and only Jimmy Akena, son to Milton Obote, son of Opeto?
But you see, they did their things surreptitiously. And,
surreptitiously again.
Otuno is one astute lawyer, and I think he's going to give them a bloody
Come on, Otuno is operating from 3 shades in Kampala here. The last time I saw him addressing a press conference was under a mango tree or something. Exactly.
But you see what they did? When you try and excogitate over it, you realize that he will knock them out technically, based on the law. Otuno, that is. Because what they did is out of the law.
If Otuno is unpopular at Uganda House, what do you do about it?
Does that mean you do things
and 2016 is near. UPC is not in
There's
the
a roadmap there. These guys need to go.
Is picking up.
Anyway, all said and done, you know, as they begin to petty over the law and stuff like that, look, Akena's battle is a tall one.
You said I should go into some very serious news now. Yesterday in court, we had during the trial of these terror suspects, one of the suspects who was arrested in Tanzania saying that the Tanzanian forces, to ensure that they get from him a statement, they had to do the following things to him. Now, this is what's in the newspaper. These are not my own words. They pulled onto his pubes and squeezed his you-know-what. Here, they call it, my genitals were squeezed. Okay, I can understand the bit about genitals being squeezed, but pulling his pubes, I'm only just making a mental picture of the length. Kajina promises more reforms.
Like these guys who bakuita kugerera film. I don't know what the English name for those guys is.
They are
DJs.
Jingo.
No, I am.
They'll add a lot of soup, a lot of kanzali, a lot of what.
Make a mental picture. You are torturing
somebody. Are you kidding me? From Eastern Uganda,
I'm imagining if you are
should
weeding,
quit.
you know, like if you're pulling passpara, like weeding passpara.
Where are we going with this?
No, this is the story in the Daily Monitor. It's enlisting a mental imagination in me, and I'm sure many viewers.
Well, the fact that his actions led to the loss of more than 70 genitals, he's irrelevant.
There's a lady here, her name is Deborah Mwesigwa. She's aspirant for Kamuli District Woman MP, and she's promising to give Kadaga a run for her money. He's saying, look, Kadaga, you have come of age, quit the woman MP seat, go and battle it out with the men. Sometimes I tend to think that women actually, they enfeeble themselves on their own. You know, when they keep saying, now you see as women, now you go and fight with the men because you have come of age. So what is wrong with the women? I don't know whether you read me, but there you are. And from Northern Uganda, Priest Suza Rua Bishop over Dismiso. I thought it's only Western Uganda that is having challenges with bishops and men of God.
UNRWA probe starts. Now, a commission of inquiry into the alleged mismanagement of the Uganda National Authority will today start conducting public hearings. It will be very interesting to see Justice Catherine Mamjemerere taking through us. I mean, every one of you has been complaining about the poor state of the infrastructure, the corruption in UNRWA, and all sorts of things, and other bits and pieces of corruption in government agencies. The President of the State of the Nation address did promise the country that you will see a judicial inquiry. Now it has come. There is a story in the Daily Monitor. Read it and be part of the public to hear for yourself exactly what, where, and what happened, where the money went and all. The only challenge is we hope that this, unlike many other commissions of inquiry, we will see the result, and then we will see action taken unto those who have been found wanting.
And many people, you know,
like they did with the police
even with the inquiry into the whether the Lord Mayor should stay mayor, people didn't actually credit Bamgemerere for what she did. She sided with the government.
The challenge with the job of Catherine Bamgemerere. Listen, the challenge with people like Bamgemerere and others who wear the judicial robe is that at no one time will they satisfy everyone. When you lose a case, you're disgruntled. But in any case, there must be a winner and a loser.
But when you don't exercise impartiality as
who measures the impartiality? You see, the thing is, the people who are making are the ones who did what? Whose side lost? So let us accept that she did.
There's an interesting quote here in Heart to Heart magazine. This is made by Chris Rock, a stand-up comedian. He says, there are only 3 things women need in life: food, water, and compliments. That's easy.
So what's
we can see how hard it is. But there's also,
I don't know how many acres of land for a farm.
In the Honey magazine of the Red Pepper here, Joel Senyonyi, this should be very worrying for you. Why? My girlfriend dumped me for my richer friend.
Because he could give food,
that's why I come here very early.
And, no,
so I'm working
because,
so that
because the other one was giving
I
food,
don't be a penurious man
and compliments.
Yeah. But start with compliments. Those are not difficult.
Come on, talk is cheap.
Get yourself a copy of the Daily Monitor and the Red Pepper, and you can get more of those stories.
Well, the Daily Monitor is telling us in the editorial that the police has failed Muslim clerics.
Yeah, but the IGP conceded to that effect.
He said he was tired of the killing as well.
And then Muzata is asking, hey, Kayihura, to mobilizing it?
Kayihura, I mean, you know, Muzata, I don't know, I find that gentleman.
Please, Joel, this is Muzata we are talking about. We still love you next to us.
So that,
when
those
that
may be
man
the words
does a
tomorrow.
fatwa against you,
we shall have it
you can
before
dare
you.
the things, you can go and call Museveni all sorts of surreptitious names, but not no.
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 Don't shake. Well, Mabel, across the international scene, Greece has failed to pay. And in a twist of events, it actually said yes to all the bailout options it was given. Earlier, it had refused them. And now, people are withdrawing only 60 euros a day. That is going to be going on for the next couple of days.
Yeah, you don't live beyond the dollar, so the Greeks are doing very well.
You know how much a euro is, Ugandan terms?
How much? 3,000 what? 4,000 now. A euro. Wow. Mabel, the
pound is over 5,000 now.
The rest,
dollar 3,300.
We're going to look at that at 8 o'clock with some officials from Bank of Uganda. So make sure you watch that particular interview. But Mabel, the latest from Greece and the rest of the world.
Thank you very much, Brian. Yes, Greece is making headlines, and according to the Prime Minister Tsipras, he says he feels they are being blackmailed, and it's really, these are very hard times. He has urged the Greeks to reject an international bailout deal, wrecking any prospect of repairing broken relationships with the European Union partners before a referendum on Sunday that may decide Greece's future in Europe, a day after Greece became the first developed country to default on debt to the International Monetary Fund. Long lines at cash machines provided a stark symbol of the pressure on Tsipras, who came to power in January vowing to end austerity and to protect the poor. Big story on all the major international news networks. This, however, is on Reuters. On to CNN here. The crash of a 50-year-old Indonesian Air Force plane that killed at least 135 people has put the health of the Southeast Asian nation's military aircraft under scrutiny. There are calls that the fleet is actually aging and this crash could have been averted. What does it mean to be female in Nigeria? Chimamanda, very popular author, is part of this article here. Everyday sexism, hashtag being female in Nigeria. She says she was called a feminist at the age of 14. Quite interesting there. And in Australia, more than 40 doctors, nurses, teachers and other humanitarian workers have signed an open letter to the Australian government challenging a new bill that could put whistleblowers in jail for disclosing the conditions of Australian detention conditions. Obviously, this is not very happy. This is not very good. Doesn't make too many people happy. The Australian Border Force is doing all they can, obviously, to keep out illegal migrants. Moving on here to Al Jazeera, we have 6 people having been killed in gun battles in parts of Bujumbura, including a policeman, as the nation awaits results from Monday's poll. I don't really know. They were asked to push the polls, but they chose not to do so. Some not so good news for England fans, heartbreak and tears. The Lionesses crashed out of the Women's World Cup after our defender Laura Bassett scored an own goal in injury time to give the Japanese the point for them to progress ahead to the final interviews. It must be totally heartbreaking. On to BBC here. A Saudi prince is to give 32 billion of his fortune to charity. This is to foster cultural understanding, empower women, and provide vital disaster relief. He says he was inspired by Bill and Melinda Gates. Mr. Gates saying he was pleased with the decision, and he praised it, calling it an inspiration to all of us working in philanthropy around the world. I'm thinking 32 billion US dollars, and he is not, well, I do not know what position he is on the rich list, but he's clearly someone who is up there. Still in Australia, thousands of dental patients may have been exposed to HIV and hepatitis. According to health authorities, these could be as many as 11,000 because of the poor cleaning and sterilization practices that some dental operators have been using in their dental clinics. Mozambique decriminalizes gay and lesbian relationships. The revised code came in force on Wednesday, drops colonial-era clause outlawing vices against nature. There were no prosecutions under that clause, but rights activists said that this is a change in a symbolic victory. This comes as other African countries have moved to tighten gay laws. And we will end here with Wimbledon being evacuated. Right now, we do know tennis is happening. A small electrical fire broke out in the center court complex, causing thousands of tennis fans to be ejected from the grounds. We'll definitely be talking more about that during the sports update. Morning at NTV will continue after this break.
Watching Morning at NTV.
Effective Monday, 6 July, screening time for your favorite drama series, The Hostel, is Monday at 7:35 p.m. Behind Closed Doors will air Wednesday to Friday at 8:05 p.m. and repeats on Saturdays at 3 p.m. Brave Woman will be showing on Tuesdays and Wednesdays at 10 p.m. and repeats will air on Thursdays and Fridays at 11:30 a.m.
The supernatural realm of God is touching base with the earthly dimension through the office of the prophet. World events are being prophesied long before they come to pass, and they do come to pass just as precisely as they were seen.
One of them was the UPC. When a conflict arose, it became so much for the person who currently leads that party.
Now I see South Africa, and I see social unrest.
And the lives of individuals are being impacted, and their destinies are defined by the prophetic voice in our midst. It's time for all the walls of unbelief to crumble in the wake of such a clear manifestation of the supernatural realm.
Come support the Uganda Cranes team as they take on the Tanzania Taifa Stars in a return leg of the CHAN qualifiers at Nachivubo Stadium this Saturday, the 4th of July 2015. For only 10,000 shillings in the open stand, 20,000 shillings in the pavilion, and 30,000 shillings VIP. This is our time. Let's bring this home. It's now.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
The official sponsors of the Uganda Cranes football team.
Brave woman.
That's for me. That's for Jessica. That's for all the girls here. You will see, Miranda. You will see. You will pay for this. Who falls down first, Rasanjala? Just wait. Are you accusing me of something?
I would be much calmer if you tell me who's your nephew.
But there's no problem. Oh, gosh.
Yeah, let me walk you out.
Excuse
I'm sorry,
me.
Wanda. I'm really sorry.
Bye.
No more hasty moves.
We have to wait for Russo to arrive, and that's it.
You're watching Morning at NTV with Simon Kasiate, Mabel Kebirunji, and Brian Mulondo.
Uganda has had 5 general elections since independence, and this time round things are a little bit different. The heat is on. Talk is all about the electoral reforms that have been suggested by the opposition, civil society organizations, and of course the NRM government for that matter has their own as well. Can these reforms be passed? Is it plausible? 2016 is just next door. How do we get this out of the way? We'll talk about that when we get back for the big story.
The Big Story brought to you by Taj Techno Bread, baked with perfection.
Joining me for the big story is Emmanuel Chitamirike. Emma is Senior Associate, Great Lakes Institute for International Studies. Good morning, Emma.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm well. The last we checked, you were Executive Director, Uganda Youth Network.
Yes.
Did you come of age? Did you see bigger things? Or is
well,
it a different, same war but different battles?
I think I'm no longer youth.
Is it?
Yes. So
okay.
I decided to say, okay, let me move on to the next step. And it is the Great Lakes Institute for Strategic Studies.
For Strategic Studies?
Yes. We're a public policy think tank. Yeah.
Welcome. You
Thank
people
you.
have been behind the push for electoral reforms, and many a person will think, look, these guys, one, it's too little, it's too late. You know, my mother is a Mnyankole, and the Mnyankole have a saying, meaning if you went to bed at about 8 p.m. and your plan is to wake up at 6 a.m., but you wake up at 5:30 and you realize I've not covered myself. So at 5:30 you cover yourself. You know, 30 minutes to your waking up. And many a person thinks it's happening with the electoral reforms. You know, 2016 is just next door, and we are huffing and puffing over these electoral reforms. Where have we been since 2011? We did not just realize this out of the blue.
Thank you so much. I think it's not really about electoral reforms, it's about good governance. And electoral reform is just part of making our governance work. And since 2011, just immediately after the elections, you know that various actors, you can mention SEDU, religious leaders, civil society, started engaging in a process to ensure that our electoral reform, our electorals are reformed, and that we have free, fair elections in 2016. I think the biggest problem has been the lack of accountability on part of the executive to table these reforms, and Parliament has enough time to debate them. They are not pushed, they are not coerced, and Ugandans can also make inputs into the reforms that Parliament discusses and passes. Yes, you're right, there isn't so much time, but even in the limited time that we have, we still hope that if Parliament emerges from this process, we can still have some small changes, but that can have significant impacts on the outcome of the elections. But I think this morning I want to redirect you to what is very, very critical, and that is the internal democracy in political parties. You all know that we will be dreaming if we talk about multi-party political dispensation if our parties are not internally democratic. And I want us to take these few minutes to interrogate, are our parties democratic? Can you give what you don't have? Okay? Can you claim to be a forum for democratic change, for instance, when there is no internal democracy? And what are you going to take to the national level?
So then why do we seem to be putting the cart before the horse?
Not really. We think that parties should be able to preach what they are practicing. That if you're not practicing something, then you cannot be able to preach it. And I want to give you five aspects on which we can be able to look at these political parties and interrogate and ask what kind of democracy or good governance are they planning. One, is there transparency in political parties? Can you go to UPC, NRM and say, I want to see your membership records or register? I want to see your finances and where you're getting them from. The second thing that we need to interrogate is, are there internal mechanisms in the political parties to democratically address internal conflict and rifts? You know that after the 2011 elections, there were so many internal conflicts within the various political parties. DP had about 2 or 3 factions that emerged after the elections in Mbale. You have NRM, you have FDC. So they have had all these internal wrangles, but how do you democratically address these wrangles without causing major rifts in the parties? The other thing that we need to look at is, are there regular elections in political parties? And is everyone capable of standing for position? Are the procedures open for any member of the party to contest? Or actually, certain positions are reserved for certain individuals in political parties? Because we can't be talking about democracy, of internal democracy of political parties, when even within political parties, certain positions are reserved for certain individuals.
Some will think that we, embrace multi-party politics in a snappy way. We should have probably waited a little bit, ruminated over it, and gotten a grip of what it really is before we could hit the road running. Others will say, look, irrespective of whether you wait for 100 years, you still face these kind of challenges, especially when it is still at its nascent stage, if you like. And so it's a learning curve that we need to embrace and keep learning. So this whole quibbling and pettifogging you see over within political parties, it is part of the growth process rather. Do you agree with that?
First of all, I agree with you that if you look at our history since independence, we have had different governance dimensions. At one time, we were a one-party state. We went multi-party. We were in the movement, which was more or less a one-party state. So there have been different trajectories or discourses within our governance spectrum. But I think we can do much better than we are doing. Even the NRM, for instance, you know that the NRM, for instance, hijacked the movement system. So there were processes, institutions that were in place that NRM hijacked. But is it a better party than I don't think so. So within this framework that we are operating in, we have, for instance, the Political Parties and Organizations Act, which defines the external and internal rules that political parties should adhere to. How much are our political parties adhering to some of these rules? So I think we need to interrogate and question political parties and be fair and tell them, guys, you cannot deliver, you cannot give what you don't have. Reorganize yourselves first.
I hear you say that even as we push for these electoral reforms, good as they seem, if they're delivered, if it so happens, there'll be some kind of eureka moment and Parliament passes them. I'm not too sure that can happen anytime soon. I hope it can. We'd like to see some real cogent changes. But if that happened, you seem to say that, look, for as long as internally parties have not sorted out themselves, then at the end of the day, we are running through a brick wall. We'll pass these electoral reforms, but just because parties have their own issues democratically, internally for that matter, then we are wasting time. We're trying to squeeze water out of a rock. Is that what I hear you say?
Yeah, I think whereas we can have political parties without democracy, unfortunately we may not have democracy without political parties. So I think it's important that even when we talk about electoral reforms, we also look at what is essential, what is necessary within political parties themselves, before we can even talk about the bigger picture. If you're a certain FDC and you have to assume state power, don't tell us about democracy that you don't have in your party. You must begin at home, okay, and show us this is the democracy that we're talking about. We will adhere to the internal rules. We'll ensure that there are no cliques or factions of leaders within the party that define, what happens in the party. We should open up our processes to everyone. We should have everyone should be equal. A certain Joel should wake up and say, I should contest for FD's flag bearer. And no one says, no, wait a minute, you are not in the queue. There's a lineage. So we need to interrogate and ensure that our political parties have fair processes internally to be able then to start talking about a bigger picture, which is Uganda. How can then Uganda be able to democratize on the basis of strong functioning in political parties?
Emma, some listening to you will think you're being unfair to these political parties. Look at the NRM, for example. You might say that there's no democracy. They'll tell you we have democracy, we have elections, and by the consensus is part of democracy. You don't have to vote on everything. They'll say, for us, we have agreed this is our sole candidate. What is wrong with that? You talk about the FDC. They'll say, look, we have had elections. Not everybody will be content. It's quixotic for you to expect that democracy means that everybody will be happy. No, those that will be beaten will, of course, be despondent. They'll go out there, make noise and say, things are not free and fair. Why? Because they've lost. UPC, same story. There are those that support this one. There are those that don't support the other one. This one wins. Of course, there will be a few that will keep quibbling all over the place and saying this, but, democracy has happened. Same story with the DP. There will be factions, this one, the other. And one will say that maybe these are, fairly good results of democracy because to show that people can get to aspire. Those that are not content, they can use other avenues, etc., etc. And so when they hear you say that, look, there's no democracy, some will think, wait a minute, you seem to be tangential to the real issue here. There is democracy, yes, it has challenges, but that comes with it. You don't expect that every member of the family is going to agree. Their views and opinions are totally different, and what is wrong with that?
First of all, one of the basic minimum standards globally for political parties is that there should be rotation and term limits for leaders, because rotation enables...
What do you mean by rotation?
Rotation means that you can't stick to one position.
Are you talking about the region or...
No. Rotation...
This time round the presidencies to Uganda, then next time Western, then...
You see, different political parties have their own norms, cultures, and behaviors. Some of them are written down, some of them are not written down. I'll give you an example. If a certain Joel or me wants to contest, but a small minority of the members of minority members of the party are saying we want a sole candidate. I'm saying,
but you see, what you seem to say here, and look, I hear you and others who will keep saying, look, there are internal issues within the NRM. If we are to use that as an example, democracy, this position of the presidency is ring-fenced. But you see, the way it operates, democracy, I think, is you support this candidate, others support this candidate. So if the supporters of this particular candidate are saying, look, this is our man, we're going to do everything we can, we're going to mobilize, we're going to convince people that all the others are hoaxes, this is the real deal. You know, if it means passing an opinion at Shankwanzi, so be it. Of course, if they don't hold a national delegates conference, then we'll take issue with them. But if they're saying from this onset, we are saying this is our person, we are going to do everything we can to popularize them, to let everybody know that all the others are charlatans, this is the real deal. What is wrong with that?
You see, if we are talking about political parties, we are talking about generally globally agreed ideals, okay? Some of them are that there should be rotation and term limits for leaders, and that's how political parties worldwide operate. Now, if you go to NRM, I will say it's an organization, but you see, you can't close out. What happens when Museveni is not there tomorrow? Will the party die? Because you've not given opportunities to members to emerge and contest. You know what happened in the FDC? Mugisha Muntu stood twice, losing to Besigye. And when eventually Besigye bowed out, Mugisha Muntu emerged. Assuming everyone in FDC was talking about Besigye, then Mugisha Muntu could not have emerged. We could not have known that there are other leaders within the party who have the potential to lead the party. So what we are saying is political parties, NRM and others, should be able to open up their leadership positions to be contested for by anyone who is willing to contest.
That's
how
you.
we'll be able to build the political parties, because if we ink political parties to leaders or factions of leaders, then what happens when those leaders are out? That means the party will die.
Let's wrap it up this way. I totally hear you. I think it's a Brobdingnagian challenge that we have on our hands, because parties are human beings. You know, you look at the NRM, without His Excellency the President, it's a tenement structure. You look at the FDC, seems like without Dr. Kizza Besigye, you know, the party is like a man with feet of clay. Anytime they can crumble, you know, and that is why he's come back as presidential flag bearer. Many would think he should have, you know, relaxed a little bit. Look at UPC. The other day, a friend of mine was telling me it died with Obote. Look at DP. They seem to have challenges. A friend of mine who belongs to the DP yesterday was telling me one of our biggest problems is that we think somebody who is not a Moganda and who's not a Catholic cannot become president of DP. So when they become so, we'll give them a bloody nose. That seems to be the same story everywhere. It worries me, even though I don't belong to any of these political parties. How do we extirpate this? How do we destroy this kind of thinking?
It's a bit difficult because our political parties are coming from a history, which I've explained. The no party, when the parties were in abeyance, the movement system. So parties are really relatively younger. The current parties that you're talking about, FDC is about 10 or plus years. But I think even with this, we can do much better, because we have the external and internal rules. And at the very best for now, can we adhere to the internal rules that govern political parties? Every political party has a constitution. How much are they adhering to the provisions of those documents? And that is the question that is not being answered. And if FDC, NRM, UPC, and DP were adhering, the other day UPC went to elections, okay? Jimmy Akena emerged as a leader, unopposed. And then what happens? People are challenging. So if the process has been followed, allow the due process, allow the candidates that emerge from the process to actually be the leaders. In a nutshell, I want to tell the listeners that we'll be live in Gulu, actually on this Saturday, and we'll be talking about the internal democracy of political parties in the 4th Station Room debate.
All right, and you'll catch that here at NTV. Emmanuel Kitamirike, Senior Associate, Great Lakes Institute for Strategic Studies. Thank you for talking to us.
You're welcome.
And it's good to see young men coming of age, you know, doing all some things and now becoming Senior Associate and, you know, good stuff. Coming up is my opinion. I don't know who this adage is attributed to. Politics is too serious a thing to be left to politicians alone. You hear it thrown all over the place. I think we need to excogitate over this and try and understand it. What did this person mean exactly when they said politics is too serious a thing to be left to politicians alone? Because you see, politicians much of the time, they are rapacious, they are greedy, they want this all for themselves, and that is why maybe they will stick around for donkey's years, they will try and ring-fence certain positions. Look, I look forward to a day when Uganda will be an egalitarian society in the real sense of it. Now, an egalitarian society is one where everybody has gotten equal opportunities, they can have an equal shot at whatever it is, be it politics, be it, job opportunities out there, whatever the case might be. And like Emma says, it begins at the basis of the political parties. If internally you're having issues, we are not too sure when you get to State House or, to the management of this country, you'll do things right. I hope, and I really hope that political parties can wake up and stand up to be counted. I look forward to one NRM, beyond President Museveni, because look, one day it will happen that he will no longer be here. I look forward to one FDC, that will live beyond Dr. Kizza Besigye. He's done a good job, founding the party together with others and building it to the level that he has, but look, one day he will be away. I look forward to a UPC, that will be extricated from Obote, because from Obote, then to Media Obote, then Jimmy Akena Obote, and that kind of thing. I hope that can change. I look forward to a DP where they will say that, look, you do not necessarily have to be a Moganda, a Catholic to be our president. And look, every political party has got issues of their own. I hope they can resolve them. That's the big story for this morning. Thanks a bunch for joining us. Coming up in a bit is Everyday Life.
Our bread is baked under the principles of good hygienic practices. Agents and distributors, call the numbers on your screen for more information. Taj Techno Bread, baked with perfection.
You're watching Morning at NTV.
We transact every day, and for centuries, currencies have changed hands. Business is a must, and that is why Money Matters makes it a must to talk business.
The biggest market out in Uganda because of East African connections and business.
From farming to business trading, we give you all the angles.
When you're harvesting, that one is the most important part, which we have to be there.
We'll bring you all the details that doing business has to offer.
Thoughts of the business leaders in the market.
The airline industry doesn't operate like any other industry, where you go in and buy a shirt and this shirt is 20 shillings today, it will be 20 shillings tomorrow, 20 shillings.
The analysis of the costs and the income in the industries. From wherever we are, we talk business, and at Money Matters, where money indeed matters. Business is a must.
So, don't miss talking business with us every Thursday only on NTV.
There's been a burglary.
Whoa, a burglary? How did they even get in?
That's what I'm trying to find out.
Marigalo?
I'm sorry.
I'm looking for Tembeka Shezi.
If you want to play dirty, I'm more than happy to oblige.
It's all systems go.
Please don't hurt him. You hurt him yourself. I can see right through you, even though Umangali's no man doesn't count.
Is that what's going to happen to our daughter, Daniel? Is she going to die?
You know this lady.
Hi, yes, Mr. Jabedi. I have a tip-off.
Fury.
I'm here.
You're also scared to say what you know. The noose is tightening round our necks.
Find a way to loosen it.
Scandal.
Look at all the juices that are in there, and that is what I'm looking for. My goodness, look at that.
On the next episode.
My dear father,
Yes.
what is the answer for 4 minus 5?
Hey, this is very easy.
This strengthens all the abdominal muscles. Childbirth becomes easy.
I am exhausted. Babu has asked me to grind all this wheat. I feel as if I should run away from this house right now and relax at a spa. I wore my new sari today so fondly, but she has made me sit here too long.
You're watching Morning at NTV with Simon Kasiate, Mabel Kebirunji, and Brian Mulundo.
Some of the most challenging problems in monetary policy management is whether currencies should be balanced, how they should be balanced, and the institution in charge for this is Bank of Uganda. This morning, many of you have sent to our Facebook page that you are tired of the increasing depreciation of the Uganda shilling. So we tasked Bank of Uganda to come and explain to us why, even as importers and exporters try to get goods in and out, it doesn't seem to get better. Albert Mujenyi is from the Communications Department of Bank of Uganda. Good morning, Albert.
Good morning, Brian.
Thank you so much for joining us.
It's a pleasure.
This seems not to end. Someone actually predicted doom until 2017. Is that what Bank of Uganda is foreseeing?
No, we're not in the business of doom saying and, you know, pessimism. We're stabilizers. Our role is to stabilize prices and make sure we have a sound financial system. So our role is more of ensuring that things are stable, prices are stable, financial institutions are stable, and we do not deal in gloom and doom.
We're currently speaking of 4,000 shillings from, well,
really?
A Forex bureau will give you 4,000. That's the rate, and I don't know if Bank of Uganda regulates that, but for the person who is watching right now and probably does not know how, you know, the markets work, why is this shilling depreciating?
Well, the shilling is depreciating for a number of reasons. Some of them are domestic, some are foreign, from abroad. Let's start from the distant one. So just before the end of the term of Ben Bernanke, the former governor of the US Federal Reserve Board, he indicated that he was going to start removing what you call ultra-loose monetary policy.
And what exactly is that?
So there was a recession in the US following the crisis and financial crisis. And to try and spur economic activity, the central bank cut their rates to almost technically zero, okay? Now, when you cut rates to technically zero and you still need to encourage economic activity, you have to find something else. So they started pumping money in the economy. That's what I called ultra-loose monetary policy. So it's otherwise known as quantitative easing. But since then, the economy of the US has started growing, and they are starting to gain confidence in that growth, that it may be durable. And because of that, they are planning to start increasing interest rates, because when an economy starts growing, inflationary pressures start building up. So in order to nip their inflationary pressures in the bud, they are likely to start increasing interest rates. Now, you know that the US economy is a very strong economy, AAA rated economy. And because of that, investors are moving from elsewhere and going back into the US, anticipating to make a return when interest rates start rising. Now, the elsewhere where they exist includes Uganda. So because you have this massive, you know, flow of money back into the US, you have pressures on the exchange rates of almost all the economies. I mean, the euro has lost significantly, over 20% of their value since June 2014. Similarly, you know, the Ugandan shilling, the British pound, the Kenyan shilling. The Tanzanian shilling has actually lost about 25%. Okay? Even in economies where there's still a bit of some management of the exchange rate market, okay, and our neighbors are not far, like Rwanda. They've also experienced some depreciation. So that's to show you that there are some global reasons.
And those are
that's
things
mainly
beyond Bank of Uganda's control.
I can bet 100% of everything I have that Uganda cannot affect monetary policy of the US, although the US monetary policy can affect Uganda.
Right.
So that's that. Now, on the domestic side, we, as a country, okay, have undertaken an ambitious infrastructure expansion, program, heavy investment, and that includes just 2 examples: Karuma and Isimba hydropower projects. We also plan to do a standard gauge railway and roads and all these things. And we're a small open economy. We're resource constrained, so we have to import a lot of these capital goods. You actually, in Uganda, you have to import in order to produce and export. You also have to import in order to fix this infrastructure gap.
We also have to export in order to import better products.
Yes, because when you export, you earn foreign exchange, and when you earn foreign exchange, you can buy other stuff from abroad, which may be better in your words. So, because we are importing a lot, okay, we have an outflow of dollars. So not only are they fleeing going to the US, we're also importing quite a lot because of we want to move from low income to middle income and the rest. Okay, it's a good national aspiration. Now, against that, you have reducing exports. Okay, and why are exports reducing? In our neighborhood, okay, you had South Sudan recently, went back into chaos, and South Sudan, there are many anecdotal stories about South Sudan impact on Uganda, to the extent that they even go to gardens and buy and book and stuff before it's ready, just to buy it and take it out. You've seen Southern Sudanese in supermarkets here buying all manner of things, including water, whatever. So when they went into conflict, it meant that that market became unavailable in the same way that it was before, because they're at war, okay? Now, that means you cannot export as much as you were exporting before. Also, these other economies abroad have been weakening, as I had said before. And because they are weaker, okay, they are not importing as much from us. Also, because the economies abroad are weaker, the people who work abroad and remit money to Uganda, send money to Uganda back to their homes and families, are unlikely to send more money. Because when you have economic weakness abroad, their economic situation, their financial situation is uncertain. They don't know for how much longer they'll be employed. So if you don't know how much longer you'll be employed, you're likely to be more conservative on your spending and generosity.
Right.
So remittance is also reduced. Now, one other thing about the pressure on the exchange rate is the fact that, in addition to what I've already said before, the oil price dropped recently. Previously, it was about 110, around there. And I think in 2006, we finally discovered, exploitable resources, oil resources in Uganda. And we anticipate to start earning revenue from that in 2018.
2018 was the projection.
Yeah. Now, in between 2006 and 2018, a lot of investment in the oil industry has to happen, okay? And a lot of money, foreign direct investment, was coming in, just to invest in this oil industry to be able to export it.
Before
the price at the time was 110. At 110, US dollars per barrel, it made financial sense to invest in an economy like Uganda, landlocked and all. The oil is a bit waxy and all these things. So it requires a lot of investment. And this investment was coming. Then the oil price dropped to as low as 50. I think at one point it was 48. And some analysts were even saying it could go as low as 35.
Yeah.
I think I saw someone who went as far as 10. But those is just, projecting. So if you have that oil price drop, and this was a sector that was attracting foreign direct investment, that was a source of foreign exchange coming into the economy. If it was you who was investing, you would slow down. And indeed, we have seen a slowdown.
So this is an intentional, literally an intentional slowdown. One of the things that we also will be talking about in the next couple of weeks will be the CBR, and that is affecting many businesses. So let me make an open invitation right now. Let me extend this invitation to you. Okay. Let's talk about the CBR next week.
I'm sure we would be more than willing to oblige.
More businessmen, do this. But quickly, and
Yes.
let's wrap this up in about a minute.
Yes.
Some, in other countries, they've been allowed to use the US dollars. Here, is it that making businessmen, isn't it making business harder for some people? We know some arcades where they are charged in US dollars. Period. If you can't afford, get out of my office space.
Well, if you, you look fairly youthful, maybe you don't remember this, but in the 80s and before, and some point in the 90s, Uganda used to control the economy, okay? It was fairly controlled. Bank of Uganda had window 1, window 2 for foreign exchange, stuff like that. These were inefficient ways of managing an economy but they were necessary at the time and seen as useful because the economy had very limited reserves of foreign exchange. Now we have, in 22nd, we had 2.9 billion US dollars in reserve, which is about 4.2 months of import cover. Now, we didn't have that before. So, how did this build-up of reserves and how did this economic situation change? We undertook liberalization of the economy.
And that allowed people to...
Yes. Foreign exchange market was liberalized in the early 90s, about 92, 93. The capital account was liberalized in 97, I hope I'm not mistaken. Now, what that does is it says to the rest of the world, come and do business in Uganda, okay? It also says to the rest of the world, if you come and do business in Uganda, you've put your money here and you've made some profit, you can also take it out, okay? Now, when they come here to do business, they employ us, okay? They employ Ugandans and then people, now, when they come with their dollars, okay, they have to be able to transact in dollars. That's one. Right. Two, you also have international institutions that are resident here, okay, that pay their stuff in dollars, that do all these things in dollars, and
so we are stuck with the dollar, for lack of a better word. Albert, it's a sign. Let me call you back Monday, and we talk more about this. If you have any questions, please go to our Facebook page, Morning at NTV, and Albert will answer those questions on Monday. All right?
Okay.
All right. Okay. So the depreciation, whether it's going down south or probably will improve in the next couple of months. That's the million-dollar question, and we'll be answering that on Monday. On Everyday Life today, I'm going to be talking to an inspirational speaker. He's a businessman. He's a pastor. He didn't like to be called a pastor, so don't switch off your TVs. He's going to have some wealth of knowledge to share. But Mabel, some people are celebrating birthdays today. Let us know who they are.
Brian, I'm actually joined today by Moses Turio Murujendo. I don't really think it's his birthday today, but he is here in his capacity as the chairman of the Old Boys Association of a particular school. They call themselves Abasinia. Have I got it right?
Very, very good.
Yes, welcome to the show, Moses.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Okay, so tell us about Abasinia.
Abasinia, these are Old Boys of Kigezi College.
So there's a school, Kigezi College, only?
It is the only senior in the south of Sahara and north of River Limpopo. And this school has produced eminent old boys. You have the Governor Bank of Uganda, Professor Tumusime Mutevile. You have got Right Honorable Mambabazi, the former Prime Minister of Uganda. You have got Chancellor of Makerere University, Professor Mondo Kagonyera. You have got eminent old boys like Honorable Shemba again, the Minister for East Africa.
Eric Katunguka, you mentioned Professor earlier.
Professor Eric Katunguka is a Vice Chancellor of Chambogo University. You have got Philemon Mateke, Honorable the Minister for Regional Cooperation. You have got... we
have got you.
You have got me. I'm a chartered accountant and practicing accounting in this country.
Yes.
So we are proud to be from Kigezi College.
Yes, you're proud to be from there. So something seems to be happening. We're actually on your Facebook page, Abasinia. Very nice. Kabale is actually one of the most beautiful places in Uganda. And I say that without any bias. But yes, tell us what is happening. Yeah,
on 4th July, which is this Saturday, we have got a fundraising dinner. Our school has been declining in terms of academics, has also been declining in terms of infrastructure. And we are meeting together as old boys and old wishers and friends to raise funds, to renovate the school, and also support the human resource capacity at our school to be able to revive the only government school, government-funded school in the entire Chikezi region.
Yeah, you said this school was built in 1957. It has no, it wasn't built like by the missionaries. It was built by the government, and it has somehow gone down the drain.
Yes.
So why are you taking it upon yourself to do government's job?
Oh, of course, that's a very good question. You know, if government doesn't do its job, then we, the old boys, have got a duty to go back and give back to our old school. We cannot afford to lose history. As you know, being clanless, if tomorrow, if somebody asked me, where did you, the school is no more, they would say, hey, you mean you didn't go to secondary school and so forth. So the best way to do this is to be able to go back as old boys and make our school shine again. And we are inviting every Muslinia, wherever he is, every friend of Kigezi College Butovere, and every well-wisher to join us on Saturday. And we put resources together so that we can rebuild the school again.
Okay, so tell me more about this fundraising. It is happening this weekend.
Yes.
Where is the dinner going to take place?
The dinner is at Imperial Hotel, just across here, and we will be starting at 5:30 p.m. And the President of Uganda will be the chief fundraiser. Of course, all the old boys and the old wishers will be in attendance.
Okay.
Good.
Okay, I think I'll ask you to come stand closer to me, and you tell us where people can actually buy the tickets from.
Yeah, we have got tickets at All Saints Church. We have got tickets at Christ the King Church. We have got tickets at St. John's Church in Tebe, and we also have a number which you can call 0751 585 113, and they can call us and we deliver the cards wherever they are.
Okay, so you've had it here, Kigezi College Butovere, our senior. They're having a fundraising drive this Saturday, the 4th of July. Chief guest is expected to be President Yoweri Museveni as they help rebuild this old school, the first government school. They're calling it the school, the only school north of the Limpopo and south of the Sahara. And they have a Twitter handle. You can follow them at KCB Senior. And this is how senior is spelled, SINIYA, Kigezi College Butovere. And joining me has been Moses Turiomuru, indeed on a journey, and a journey to greatness, I believe, a journey to heaven, as you told me earlier. And great stuff. And we hope that maybe you'll come back later and tell us how far, how much you collected, and what you have been able to do to bring this school to its former glory.
Wow. Thank you very much. I just have to say, our senior, wherever you are.
You can speak Ruchiga.
Our senior, mwene himuri. N'abarendeza Butovere ibirungi tubugane harwa mukaga tufonda shiringi kugira ngo ushime gwitigaruka mutindo mwe bari muno.
Obugalo. Now we cross over to Brian. Brian, I'm very excited. I have had Pastor Julian Schuler speak before and I was blown away. So I'm very excited about today's everyday life.
Well, Mabel, he's not just a pastor. He's a businessman. He's married to one wife who is a woman. We have to make sure we clarify some of these things. The senior pastor of Purpose Center Church in Kenya, and also the chairman of Knightbridge Holdings, which has interest in agriculture, real estate, and energy, but also the CEO of Mod Group. We're going to look at the man that bears all this, for lack of a better word, burden, but does everything successfully. That's coming up on Everyday Life.
Everyday Life
is brought to you by ICEA Group
on Star Times.
Pastor Julian Chula.
Brian.
Chula.
Chula, depends, accents, but Chula.
Chula is the right pronunciation.
It's the right pronunciation.
Welcome to Uganda.
Thank you very much.
Is this your first time in Uganda?
Oh, no. No, Uganda is a second home.
Oh.
Yes.
What are you in Uganda for this time around?
I'm here for the Inspire conference. I was privileged to be invited to this year's Inspire conference. And the team just has done an amazing job in building market leaders, kingdom market leaders to be able to understand what they need to do in the marketplace. So this has been an absolutely amazing event.
That has been the conversation I think I've attended like 2 or 3 churches in the past month that are emphasizing the impact of Christians in the marketplace.
Absolutely.
Is this an imminent need in the church? Is it an intentional focus now for the church?
It has to be. You cannot be relevant when you are irrelevant in the place that you're supposed to be effective. And I think there has been a misunderstanding. We think that the most effective place that Christians can be effective is in the church.
Yeah.
But on Monday morning, all these thousands of people who flock to church on Sunday are in the marketplace. And we must come out and be able to teach and show this is why you can be effective as a teacher. This is why you can be effective as a politician. These are the kingdom values you hold dear if you're effective in the media. And that way you can understand that the influence of a kingdom champion is supposed to have certain attributes to it. So we have to prepare people because our work is to equip God's people. And they should be equipped for the place they're going. So that it is not just a forever gospel on a Sunday morning. But then on Monday you forget everything that was happening on Sunday because you're not a different person on Monday.
You're still the same person.
You're still the same person. So we need to come out of our closets as the church and be efficient and effective in teaching people what they need to understand so that Brian can know, how can I be the most effective media person in Africa? Not
I like that
not
vision.
just in Uganda.
Just touch here and I
take
it. I receive it. I love that. Well, I have a pastor friend of mine, and he says Sunday is like how you will take your car to the garage to just get serviced, and on Monday you're back on the road.
Right.
The road is the marketplace.
Right. That's absolutely true. The only thing we need to make sure is, as we get serviced, and that's a very interesting analogy. I like it. You need to understand that when we meet on Sunday, it's not just coming to listen to one person speaking. It is a place where we do get re-energized. We do share, we network, we understand what the mandate is. But then on Monday, you get back on the road. But what you have to understand is that the relationship you have with Christ is not a Sunday thing. That's why people by Thursday are saying, oh, I need to get to church. No, if you have a relationship with God, then Sunday is purely just an addition to that extension of who you truly are already.
Right.
Not a different person coming to be re-energized and refueled, but you should have the fuel consistently because the work you have is going to take you places. So you may have to be in different parts of the world or different parts of the country, but you're consistently fueled with the relationship you already have. So those are the values we're teaching.
I don't want to preempt the conference teaching, and you know, because we need people to go there and listen to some of this stuff. But basic, standard, you know, ways a Christian can be effective where they are.
I think first is a recognition that you are a spiritual being. You live in a body and you have a soul. That recognition of understanding that your mission is to the marketplace. Marketplace, but yesterday we were defining marketplace. It is actually any place where there is a public gathering, a place where there is a public awareness, a place where decisions are made. Therefore, when you talk of transport, when you talk of media, when you talk of education, when you talk of politics, we should be equipping people to have the right values so that by the time they become a politician, you're not trying to Christianize them at that point. They should have grown with those values, and therefore by the time you enter that marketplace, you're already driven by a particular value system. By the time you enter a bank, you're driven by a particular value system, and therefore that value system that enables you to create the right policies and create the right environment is what drives you. But when you enter and we try to inject you with values, it's not an injection. It's something you have to have grown with, and that's the basic we're going to.
You are a businessman. Successful at that. Have you been able to do that? Because we see, many people will conflict, especially you're a pastor and a businessman. More pastors, I know pastors who dedicate more time to their churches than their businesses, fail. How do you do that?
Let me tell you, Brian, I have a secret. I want to share a secret with Uganda today, with your permission.
Please do.
The best CEO who ever lived The best example of a kingdom leader who ever lived was Jesus Christ. In 3 years, he worked himself out of a job. The best secret for anyone to understand is how to raise people. If you raise people, you don't have to be the one doing everything. And therefore, the one thing I'm conscious about consistently, the only job I'm not going to work myself out of is being a husband.
That is permanent.
And it's not a job. So when we talk about work, when we talk about church, if you raise people and learn to release people, the problem is we like to hold on. People want to hold on to things for 30 years.
Yeah.
You will be a lot more effective. Look at Mandela. You become a lot more effective when you learn to let go. But that is one of the African dilemmas we are facing. We don't know how to let go. And therefore, if you're a bank CEO, you want to be a CEO for 35 years. If you're a pastor, you want to be the pastor for 45 years. Actually, if you released people, and therefore, you ask me how I do it, I raise people. I raise people. And I've learned it is very hard. I'll tell you the truth. It's easier said than done. It's hard to let go. But the discipline of just saying, okay, so Brian is here. He's the, you know, the one person Uganda is talking about. He's hosting amazing shows. Then the question becomes, why shouldn't Brian be that for Africa? But for Brian to achieve that in Africa, he has to let go of Uganda.
Boss, you're talking to me. This is spooky, really spooky. Because I'm having these conversations with a few people.
Are you?
Oh my goodness.
A few people.
Okay. I'm listening. I'm listening.
So that's what we want to teach. And it's very, the one thing it has to be is deliberate. You have to be deliberate. And we have to teach people in the church, stop using faith as an excuse. Most people in church, if they try a business and they have a hard time, they say, you know, if it was going to work, if God meant it to be, it would have worked. No, let me tell you, anytime God has sent you to go and take up a promised land, there's a king sitting there. You have to go and take it. It's not easy, it's deliberate. You have to fight for it, you have to work it, you may have to deal with auctioneers and being evicted at some point. Stop crying.
This sounds like, listening, you know, I was listening to Pastor Peter Sematimba, and he looks at this verse in the Bible that says, the land that my feet will touch will be mine, and if he wants it, he will do everything to make sure that he gets, because God tells him, and now, you know, he tells you, you have to work hard to get it though.
Yes, you have to work hard to get it. We just can't be shouting. All the time we're shouting. Shouting doesn't get you a city. Cities need engineers.
Come on.
Cities need architects. Have you ever gone to a plane and the pilot is taking off and he starts just speaking in tongues? Speaking in tongues does not move a plane. You can build your faith up, but there are things that need practical, deliberate action. And faith thinks. Faith thinks. Faith is a thinker. That's why they say faith without works is dead. My friend Brian, there's a problem and there's a solution. In between is thinking. The Bible says that the rain falls on the just and the unjust alike. It means when you get an idea in Uganda, there are 2,000 Chinese that got it that same morning.
That even got it before me.
Before you. Yeah. The difference is not going to be in who got the idea, because a lot of Christians say, I have ideas. My friend, ideas don't matter. Execution. Where we need to get this thing done, execution, and execution is deliberate. And we are teaching people that faith is great, but now it's time to go to work. Stop having excuses. Get your hands dirty. Actually, Jesus on the cross said it is finished. Therefore, what he was saying when you were saying it is finished, he was saying, you know, in understanding finishing, Bible says, I have given you everything you need for life and godliness. So there's no more blessing I need to give you. The only blessing I give you is from Psalms 90:17, that I will bless the work of your hands. Therefore, to get extra blessing from our Father in heaven, one thing is needed: working. Working. And if you pray, I'm happy with people who pray. We have to pray, but pray working.
Oh my goodness.
Don't pray and come ask me for rent. Pray and work. Yes.
For a minute there, he sounded Nigeria like, idiot. Prayer, Okay. You're also a family man. We'll probably close with this. You're a family man. You have 3 boys.
Right.
Again, how do you do this? we have a saying in Uganda, Chikolotia, by the way. You know, businessman, pastor, full-time at that.
Right.
And also a father.
Right. You have the balance, I tell you, was not easy in the beginning. It was very hard. But what I've learned and what I want to teach even at this Inspire conference is balance comes again from a very deliberate mindset. So I cannot abscond my responsibility of raising 3 boys, my children. Therefore, everything I'm building and believing that I want them to have the kind of future that they could dream of is a drive. But that drive should not in any way replace time. Therefore, children don't spell love as L-O-V-E. They spell it T-I-M-E. And therefore, one of the things I have to be very deliberate about is spending time with my family. There are days that are out of bounds for anybody. There are holidays, there are half terms, there are school events. I don't care which country in the world I'm in, I will fly back. Wow. So that I can be there for the things that are important to my children. They know that they are number one. And therefore, I think if you teach the balance of being a good father is not just about quantity of time, it's the quality of time that is being spent. So that they know, and that is where I believe God gives me balance. That's why you have to marry a friend, not a terrorist. If you marry a terrorist, good luck.
Single people here. Julian Chula is going to be at the Inspire conference. It's happening at Deliverance Church at Imperial Royale.
It's Imperial Royale, the hotel.
When? 5:30 today. He's on today and tomorrow. And Saturday. Fantastic.
They got me here for 4 days in Uganda. Beautiful. Eat all the matoke.
All right, so we'll definitely remind you tomorrow. This is some inspirational stuff that you need to get, and the core of this message: work, work, work. Stop talking. Okay, it's good to pray, but
pray working.
Pray working. I like that. Julian, I know I have dragged you out of, you arrived in the country last night.
It's okay.
Thank you for so much.
We are working.
Yeah. You stay with us when we come back. Aisha will be here with all the latest sport. Inspire Conference will be on this evening, 5:30 p.m. at Imperial Royale, and goes on until Sunday. So we'll let you know more details on our Facebook page and Twitter at Morning at NTV. Stay with us.
In this financial jungle, you need an ally. Welcome to the new ICEA Group, your one-stop shop for all your insurance, pensions, and investment solutions.
Start time. Owagabiwo mu digital TV. For more information, call 117-117-700. Start time. Affordable digital television.
Watching Morning at NTV with Simon Kasiate, Mabel Kebirunji, and Brian Mulondo.
Another day begins in this financial jungle. It's man eat man. Listen, the sound of bustling business, the sound of a new member in the family. It's a real jungle out here. To make it in this financial jungle, you need an ally who's bigger, better, and stronger, whose power, presence, and influence is felt across the region. Welcome to the new ICEA Group, your one-stop shop for all your insurance, pensions, and investment solutions.
Hong Hai Wood is the largest manufacturer of construction plywood in different sizes from 3mm to 25mm, including MDF boards, ceiling boards, particle boards, and block boards. Our products can be bought from our factory outlets at Katwe and are available in all leading hardware shops countrywide. For more information, contact us on +256 414 252 655. By choosing Hong Hai Plywood, you have chosen the highest quality product and are supporting a Ugandan company.
Brave woman.
That's for me. That's for Jessica. That's for all the girls here. You will see, Miranda. You will see. You will pay for this. Who falls down first, Rasanjala? Just wait. Are you accusing me of something?
I would be much calmer if you tell me who is your nephew.
But there's no problem. Oh, gosh.
Yeah, let me walk you out.
Excuse
I'm sorry,
me.
Wanda. I'm really sorry.
Bye. No more hasty moves. We have to wait for Russo to arrive, and that's it.
A rally in Fort Portal after 40 years. Oh my goodness.
Is it because you were
Is it
there?
because you visited? Yes.
Yeah, and King Oyo said, I have to have these sports people back.
Okay, I might know a lot of people, and I want to take full claim of this one, but unfortunately I can't. If it was not fasting, I would actually say I am responsible.
But you're not allowed to lie.
Yes, so I will not take full claim of this one, but it's definitely going to be one that they will be looking forward to. We're down there, and already people are looking forward to it. There are all these signposts and what. It's going to be starting off at Bomber Grounds as well. The super special stage is going to be there. Hotels are all fully booked. Try getting a hotel down in Fort Portal. Right now, it's almost impossible to get one. They were there for the wrecking as early as last weekend when we were down there. So it's going to be really, really exciting for the first time. And I think for FMI, what they're trying to do is try and spread the rally across the different regions so that it's really a national rally championship and not just based in Kampala alone. So they've done all the different regions. Now they want to take it, they've done Mbale, you had the Ginger Run, now back to Fort Portal down in the west. So it's going to be spread across, and this is something that's really going to be exciting. On top of the national rally standings, Arthur Blake still is dominant with 260 points. Duncan Mobiro not too far behind on 175, and Ronald Seboguzi on 110, and my favorite guy in this one, Pole Pole, on 105. So quite a lot of entrants in this one. 21 to be exact will be done in Fort Portal, trying to tussle out how they are going to look like in the rally. So expect a couple of surprises there. Desh, your Desh is going to be there. Desh Kananura in his
Team
Subaru
Desh.
Impreza. Team Desh is always comes with all the aplomb, and they've got all their personalized water, personalized everything.
Desh water.
They know how to sell the rally and sell their team. Then, of course, you'd expect a couple of surprise. Kuku Ranjit is down there. His co-driver is going to be Mosan Sobuga, who comes with a lot of experience. So definitely that's going to be someone that is going to be dominant. Arthur Blake has been driving very well. This is the fourth round, and he has been driving very well. The first three, he was just about there on podium. So that pretty much means that he's going to be a factor down there. So we'll talk more about this tomorrow. Hopefully we can get a rally person down here too. Yeah, tell us what to expect.
Bring Seboguzi. What is Chikankani? Is the Chikankani?
Duncan.
Yes, bring Chikankani.
Unfortunately, many of them might already be in Fort, but we'll try and see who is still down here. Yeah.
All right.
Okay, let's move on to the Africa Nations Championships. The return leg, Uganda versus Tanzania. Is there any reason for the team to be tinkered with?
I do not think they should be. I don't think they should be. They sent out a relatively young side, a bit of experience, a bit of young boys in there. So I think overall, though, for Micho, it's going to be try and cement. He has the luxury to try at one or two things. I mean, if you have a 3-0 lead over Tanzania and you have a home return leg, I think you are allowed to try out a few other options, especially after that first half, and you've secured that. Of course, Tanzania is a strong side, and we don't want to put them in a situation like that. They fired their coach, so they're coming down here. They will not have. They'll have a sunny. Yeah, they want this, but overturning a 3-0, especially against the Uganda side, is going to be much more difficult. So I think for Micho, it will be trying out a few things, maybe in the second half eventually. That game is going to be on Saturday, 4th July at Nachivubo Stadium. The entry fee is 10,000 for the open stands. That's the Chirasha. Then, of course, 20,000 for the covered stands, if you know where those are. And pavilion will be 30,000 in the Chan tournament expected.
From the Chan to the Sekafa Kagame Cup, the draw is out. Who is KCCA facing?
KCC has relatively perhaps hard sides in their group because they will be having an Azam from Tanzania in their group. Azam, one of the stronger sides, they do have all the money guys in there, John Boko and the likes. They are able to sign players from across West Africa as well. So I think for KCC, they got their work cut out for them. Of course, Mike Motebi and Sam Simba's claim they are going there to try and win it. That championship is going to be down in Dar es Salaam. So from July 11th to August 2nd, expect that to be going on. But they have Azam in there. They've got Malakia from Southern Sudan. Therefore, they also have Adama City from Ethiopia in their group. So not taking any of the sides lightly. Last year round, the Sekava Kagame Cup, I think KCC finished 4th overall after losing in that 3rd place playoff. So I think they'll be trying to do one better this time round because they go in there with a relatively new squad. A lot of the players that were down in Kigali last year round are not part of this squad. They've got a new coach. It's not going to be George Bestinsibe. George Bestinsibe will be on the other side with Azam trying to tell them the new tricks in terms of KCC. So it's going to be interesting to see how they fare down there. So that championship starts off on July 11th. We'll be talking more about this as it progresses.
Well, the final team for the Rugby Africa Cup IB was mentioned. Which big names are missing?
Oscar Kariango, the MVP from last year, is now part of this squad. He was dropped en route to the 2nd leg of the Elgon Cup, and he is, when they made the final list of that car championship, he is not going to be part of that squad. I think he's very, very disappointed and all, but the selectors and the coaches feel that this is the strongest side that they can send out there to be able to compete when the championship does roll around. So I think for Oscar Kariango, surprising, he's had a couple of injuries, but I thought he would eventually make the team. The final team does have Brian Odong as the captain, Marshall Chukakam, then of course Asman Mogera, Dennis Mugambe, Alex Mubiru, Cyrus Wathum, Pius Ogena, Arthur Mpande, Matthias Ocho, Scott Oloch, Charles Uhuru, John Wandicho in the forwards, and in the back, Kevin McMott, Davis Chualabi makes that list, Chris Lubanga, Joseph James Jongat, James Odong, Justin Kimono, right back onto the squad. He was suspended for that Elgon Cup clash after a headbutt down in Nairobi. Then of course Lawrence Seboliba, Alfred Bijik, Gerald Sewankambo, and Michael Wokorach, the vice captain, make the list of the team that will be playing.
All right, let's talk about some Wimbledon and the FIFA Women's World Cup. Let's talk tennis first. Is it wins for Djokovic, Wawrinka? Expected wins anyway?
I think they are at this stage there. If they did lose, it will be an upset of sorts right now. I think for Stan, everyone is looking at him. He did win down in the French Open. So I think going into this one, he obviously comes into this as favourites. He did beat up on Novak and not to winning that French Open. So I think all eyes are going to be on him. Easy wins all around. I think Sharapova also coming through a difficult one. Venus Williams winning hard, Serena as well winning hard. So Ana Ivanovic though knocked out. If you're looking for a couple of shocks earlier on going out, I think Simona Halep as well was knocked out. Eugenie Bouchard, the Canadian, who you
but she's still very young.
21 years. Tennis edge. You've got to be yes, because she got to the final last year round at the Wimbledon. Not as lucky this time round, knocked out by Ying Duan. The Chinese, I mean, you do not used to a Ying Yang. But that's a bit of what's happening down there. So no shocks yet. The big names are still secure in there. I will be telling you if any of that changes.
Now, I know why Brian was saying we have to talk about the female FIFA. I don't know why I call it female FIFA, but it's the Women's World Cup that's taking place in Canada.
Yes.
England, unfortunately, out, but it was an own goal in injury time. So I do not know if that counts, really. Let me face Aisha.
It's England.
It was, and I can imagine, I was reading tweets from Gary Lineker to all sorts of people saying, you know, they feel for the lady. Her name has just skipped my mind.
Laura Bassett.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, an own goal in injury time, really, it's life is a bad woman. What do you say? Karma is or whatever. But it was really unfair. It was really unfair. I think it's just one of those things.
That is football. That is football.
Yeah.
It's a very, very cruel game. And,
cruel is the word.
They came really close. I thought they should have, maybe even after extra time, they might not have won it. But I think overall, at the end of the day, they needed to have gone into that extra time to determine that they were not the better side at the end of the day. Because Japan, after scoring that goal, I think sat back a little. And for all much of the second half, they were not the better side. England was the better side. They scored, eventually got a penalty. And then that injury time own goal from Laura Bassett.
It doesn't get more painful than that.
92nd minute, a couple of minutes onto the clock, and you score a goal. God, that knocks you out. How unfortunate are England? I mean, there were all these replays from Gaza, the time at the World Cup. I mean, they've said almost everything, and all the memes are there on Twitter and on all the social media. But it was really sad because she burst out into tears. She was inconsolable. I think the entire team as a whole missing out on
and she has done very well.
Yes, because they've not come this close. Samson, the coach, in the press conference, saying all sorts of things and backing his team, and this is a new Lioness side, but they're out. So 2-1 was the eventual score. Japan beat USA in the final. They beat them. Japan beat USA, and not to win there as in 2011. So this is the final.
When is the final?
The final is on 5th, so we'll tell you about that.
After the American independence, it's going to be blood.
Yeah, they have a chance to play for third place playoff with Germany, England, which I think they are going to lose.
All right. Aisha, thank you so much for those updates. If you want more of this, catch Lumansi, Alan, and Isma later at 1:30 p.m. with all the latest on Omumuli. Of course, NTV will keep updating you on all the sports activities there. Today has been an amazing day, from the interesting conversation with Julian Schuler to England
not winning.
Really.
Put it kindly.
Yeah, with England dropping out of the World Cup. It's indeed sad. But life goes on, and make sure today you get to work and be as effective as possible in the marketplace. That's your message this morning, and take it in stride. I'll catch you tomorrow for another edition of Morning at NTV, the Friday edition. Expect the most awesome music here on Morning at NTV. We'll have Aisha on the drums, Mabel on the keyboard, and me on the MIC. We'll catch you tomorrow.
Watching Morning at NTV with Simon Kasiate, Mabel Kebirunji, and Brian Munondo.
Effective Monday, 6 July, screening time for your favorite drama series, The Hostel, is Monday at 7:35 p.m. Behind Closed Doors will air Wednesday to Friday at 8:05 p.m. and repeats on Saturdays at 3 p.m. Brave Woman will be showing on Tuesdays and Wednesdays at 10 p.m. and repeats will air on Thursdays and Fridays at 11:30 a.m.
It's time to take action to end child marriage in Uganda. Nearly 50% of 20 to 49-year-old women in Uganda today were married by the age of 18. That's 3 million women in Uganda today. That's many dreams crushed. Every night from June 29th to July 8th, 2015, watch a series of features that will explore the issue of child marriage and its consequences in Uganda. And we want to know your story. How are you or somebody you know contributing to end child marriage in Uganda? Tell us on at NTV, at UNICEF, at YouReport, and potentially be featured on NTV. It's time to take action to end child marriage in Uganda. Hashtag end child marriage UG.
The people of Uganda are saying they would need to have an independent electoral commission.
I was elected on a Democratic Party ticket. It wasn't the wish of the government that a DP man would take up the district. But the circumstances which were there, I think, which I can call free and fair, favored me to be here as a DP man.
The electoral commission we are having is nominated by one of the opponents we are playing
One
with.
of the contestants.
Yeah. That one cannot be free and fair.
I think let it stay as it is, because however much we need it to be independent, still, as long as it is paid by the government, the independence, that one I don't know how it will be.
Let's use this chance, the time we have, 2016, to use the little we have to achieve the best from that. What?
Come support the Uganda Cranes team as they take on the Tanzania Taifa Stars in a return leg of the CHAN qualifiers at Nachivubo Stadium this Saturday, the 4th of July 2015. For only 10,000 shillings in the open stands, 20,000 shillings in the pavilion, and 30,000 shillings VIP. This is our time. Let's bring this home. It's now.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
The official sponsors of the Uganda Cranes football team.
On the next episode,
My dear father,
Yes.
what is the answer for 4 minus 5?
Hey, this is very easy.
This strengthens all the abdominal muscles. Childbirth becomes easy.
I am exhausted. Babu has asked me to grind all this wheat. I feel as if I should run away from this house right now and relax at a spa. I wore my new sari today so fondly, but she has made me sit here too long.
is brought to you by
Detto, be 100% sure.
Mukwaniriza nnyo ku programu yo eya mwasize mutya ennaku z'omwezi 2 omwezi ogwa July oba ogw'omusanvu. Nze Farida Nakazibwe akulamusaako olwaleero. Kansooka okulamusa ekyenjawulo eri bakwano bange Carlton Scovia Nakamya Iruwero ne Simon Sekancha olwaleero mujaguza amazaalibwa. Happy birthday okuva erinze ne bannamu abalala abansabye mbatumire. Nkutegeezeza mbu leero nnaku z'omwezi 2 tubeera twogera ku nsonga za mukwano, tuwebudaabuda mu nsonga ezo ez'omukwano. Ez'omukwano era leero tulina Hilda Bahati mu studio. Mwasize mutya? Mu bye tukolako olwaleero, akakiiko akaateekebwawo kunoonyereza ku mivuyo mu kitongole ekikola ku by'enguudo UNRA katandika leero okukola ejjaako. Ate President wa FDC Major General Mugisha Muntu olwaleero lwasunsulwamu okuvuganya ku kyani anaakiikirira ekibiina mu kulonda kwa 2016. Ekasese omuganya mwamba guzeemu nate okubooga ne gutataaganya emirimu mu ddwaliro ery'ekirembe songa ekirwadde kya Ebola kisitudde buto enkundi mu ggwanga erya Liberia. Ago n'amalala mangi togasibwa mawulire gaffe ag'enjawulo nga bulijjo NTV at 1 gabeerayo ku saa 7, NTV akawungezi ku ssaawa 1 ne NTV Tonight mu kiro. Ku Lwokuna tutera kubudaabuda bantu mu nsonga ezo ez'omukwano. Era leero twagala tulabe olinda kumala bbanga ki nga munno naddala abaami mwe mutera okutusa abatu bafumbirwe. How long should you wait to propose? Ninde ekiseera kitutera okubeera awo n'olinda emyaka ne gigenda gumu 2 3 akuba okyali musanyufu awo n'otamanya nti ate bwe mutongoza omukwano guno muba mukoze kyamaanyi nnyo n'olinda n'alinda naawe mwembi mwerinda buli omu ajjukanye munne ono alinda omujjukanyi yagamba waayi kasita alabika akyali comfortable wano naye n'asirika ne mukulungula emyaka gyammwe 5 okukakkana ng'afunyeyo omulala gwalowooza mbu yasaanidde okuba embaga oba okuwasa. Ndi ne Hilda Bahati okuva mu Life Fix abudabuda abantu relationship counselor life coach ebyo byonna professional counselor byonna bibye Hilda tukwaniriza nate.
Yes, nange nsanisa okubeera wano.
Okay. Tubeera nnyo comfortable. Oluusi abamu bagezaako n'asindiikiriza but how long should I wait?
Ogambye abamu bagezaako abamu beekalakasa n'okwekalakasa n'ateekawo ultimatums bwekibanga kino tekigenda kukola tukireke oba nze nkivuddemu oba tufunayo omulala oba kola ki naye nga byonna bijja ku question esookera ddala tuba tulina okutunuulira abantu bano ababiri nga bw'ogambye nti omuntu olinda ddi ekitegeeza ky'obadde olindirira tonakifuna oba ky'obadde osuubira tonaba kukifuna ate ne tutunuulira ku sayidi y'omwami kiki ekimulwisizaawo oba kiki ekikyamuleetedde okuba nga tavaayo kusaba bufumbo oba kugamba kati abantu abamu naddala wano ewaffe ekigambo proposal abamu tetukitwala nnyo nga kikulu oba ekigambo omuntu okukusaba obufumbo tetukitwala nnyo nga kikulu oba si kyekyo tukimanyi naye tetukimanyi mu bulambulukufu bwakyo osobola okubeera n'omuntu mu relationship ennaku zino abantu this is what they do beera n'omuntu mu relationship namugamba nkwagala namukwana ne bamala ne batandika bukofi ne batandika dates one thing leads to another bategedde bazadde baabwe bakyadde bakoze eki naye ng'omusajja tabeerangako awo n'agamba nti omukyalo ono kamusabe mu butongole nti gwe mukyala gwe njagala okubeera naye bulijjo
kyetaagisa bate nga wajjira okulaba abazadde bange abasazeewo nti ono ye omuntu
anti kakati waliwo abakikola era abasinga bagamba kiri modernized oba kiri westernized nti oba abantu batandikira eri mu nsi ez'abazungu okuba nga kigenda kijja mpaka wano naye kino kyekintu bw'oba nga oli mu relationship bulijjo nkugamba okyalina omukisa okuvaamu oba obutavaamu okyalina omukisa okwetegereza omuntu ono era mpaka nga mutuuse ku ddaala eryo omusajja n'agamba nti naye omanyi mwetegereza ye mukyala gwe njagala era kamugambe kati tugende ku ddaala eriddako proposal oba commitment lye ddaala eriddako
noza proposal abasinga zetumanyi ze zino zetulaba mu movie
oli afukamidde oli aleese empeta kati tekyetaaga kubeera bwe kityo muyinza n'okuba mu ddiiro lyammwe ulina ne bwakugamba bugambi abamu tebamanyi nakubyogera bwe bityo naye nakugamba bugambi naye omanyi tugende mu bazadde tutongoze obufumbo buno aba apropose nze kubanga akulaze nti mu future yange nkulabamu ndaba abaana betugenda okuzaala tugenda kubeera wamu nkwagala yes awo aba propose nze kakati kyetulina okutunuulira kiki ekigana omusajja okuproposinga kiki ekigana omusajja okulowooza ku bufumbo
era nange omukazi playing a role kyokulaba nti omwami ono akola akyanguyo oba
akikola kubanga mu process eyo y'okulinda tugambye nti onoolinda mpaka ddi naye mu process eyo y'okulinda olina ebintu byolina okukoleramu okulaga omwami ono nti ndi ready njagala bufumbo eno ye priority yange nange eno ye target yange njagala kubanga nfumbirwa so bwe tutumbira ku sayidi y'abaami bingi nnyo ebibagaana era bingi nnyo bibajja okwogera nti ate nze nkyakola nti ate nze nkyetegereza nkyakola ebyo byonna byakwekwasa balina okutya waliwo abamu betuyita commitment phobias naye ate mu commitment phobias nabo bavaayo ne balambulula ensonga ne bagamba nti si lwakuba tetwagala commitment naffe twagala obufumbo naye ekisooka oyingira mu bufumbo olowooza ogenze mu prison ogenze mu kkomera omuntu omutaddewo nga warden wali olabyeko bano ba wardens mu dormitories oba kwegamba ye aliwo okumanya saawa mmekazi okomyewo saawa mmekazi oyingidde ani gwoli naye n'akuteeka ku bunkenke ate abasajja ekintu kye basinga okwagala mu nsi freedom ayinza n'okuba talina kyakozesa freedom ye ayinza n'okuba si ye mukyakaze ayinza n'okuba sigamba nti yalina emikwano
egiryawo yerowooleze si gwe kumulowooleza
si kumuteeka ku bunkenke ate oliwa ate okola ki ate oyinza n'okuba nga tokimugamba naye mu bwongo agamba nti kati ono bwe namugamba nti yeyekka muwasizza mukyala wange agenda kufuuka police officer
olaba mmezeeko nga
ng'okyali mu relationship. Kakati ekyo kyokka engeri gye weekwatirira omusajja n'omwekwatirira kugamba n'obanga tolina bulamu obubwo ku bubwo naye obeerawo ku lulwe agenda okulaba nga badde nnene nnyo. Kati gwe tomanya kiki muteesizza naye agamba nti bwe nakitwala ku leve eddako tekibeere kibi nnyo ate ogenda okulaba nga atidde. Kati waliwo abasajja abamu oba abaami abamu ng'alina priorities yakula alina targets yagamba nti nze sijja kuwasa okujjako nga nzimbye okujjako nga nguze ettaka okujjako ng'omulimu gwange guteredde bulungi gunaatereera ddi tewali kintu kitereevu mu nsi.
Anti kakati gwe nga weesikamu ng'alindako bana abato abajja batanaba nabo kuba ready.
Anti kakati oyinza okuba nga gwe olaba nti ye muntu omutuufu era waliwo ebintu by'osobola okukola okulaga omuntu ono nti tupushinga marriage eno ebeere priority ebirala biddeko. Omuntu bw'omuwa comfort, abasajja baagala nnyo comfort, abasajja baagala nnyo kubanga oli homely, oli nga maka gaabwe. Amanyi nti ne bw'anaagenda mu nsi wali olabyeko ekinyonyi kitambula ne kyetaaya ne kigenda wa ndowooza ekinyonyi kisobola n'okuva e Kampala ne kigenda e Jinja just to look for food. Naye ekiro kimanyi ekisu kyakyo what is the next kitugiyita ndowooza ekiyumba ky'ekinyonyi. Kati kiba kimanyi ekiyumba ky'ekinyonyi we kiri era ne bwe kigenda wa tekiyinza kugamba nti kigende ku kiyumba ky'ekinyonyi ekirala era kijja kukomawo ku kiyumba ky'ekinyonyi kyakyo. Kati gwe ng'omukyala bwe weefuula nti gwe maka yo attitude yo engeri gy'otreatingamu oba gy'oyisaamu omusajja agenda okulaba nti omukyala ono nsobola okubeera naye ati ne twezimba ne twekulaakulanya sirina kusooka kunoonya bino nensooka nenkakaluka n'ate kuzimba ate kukola ki naye bwe tuteesa ne twewa time frame ne tugamba mu bbanga bwe riti tujja kuba tukoze kino mu bbanga bwe riti tusobola obbifuna tusobola obbituukako ffenna. Ekyo nakyo kisoboka ate ne wabaawo abasajja bo nga bakusindiikiriza. Kakati omusajja ow'okusindiikiriza beba n'oba olina okusetingira boundaries nga mutandika relationship bulijjo tukyogerako wano oba otandika relationship leka kabeere kubeera kacaayi nakunyumya nakuseka nakutunuulira omuntu bw'oba omanyi nti kyekimuleese mukwano n'akubuulira n'amala n'akugamba nti ekindeese mukwano mubuuze ki ekiddako mubuuze
tagamba ono nga tambeerere mwangu.
Ennaku zino abantu tebaagala bamalira biseera ate naye tayagala kumalira biseera okujjako ng'oli player ng'olaba player oba oli alina kyakwagazaako nti oba ayagala kwebaka bwe basinaawo atambula agende naye omuntu bw'abanga ali serious ameasuringa your level of seriousness mu bigambo by'oyogera n'engeri gy'okwatamu ebintu. Kakati oyinza okuba nga omukyali mu bukofi tolina ky'oyogedde mutandise you even move in olina kugamba nti jangu tubeere ffenna n'ogamba mponye rent n'ositula emigugu n'ogikubayo ogenda okulaba mutabuka ogenda okulaba mukola ki naye omusajja ono amaze okutuusa w'ayagala kati oli very vulnerable. Bw'ona oyogera ekintu kyonna gamba nti bwe naabikola omwo bangobye wano bwe atambudde ajja kulabayo omulala nsinga oba okitegeera ogenda okulaba mukazi wattu atudde omwaka guyiseewo 2, 3, 5 naye so omuntu ono bw'oba nga otudde naye wakubuulidde interest ye nakugamba nti nkwagala n'omugamba nti weerabawo mu myaka 5 nakuwa time frame nakugamba nti mu myaka 5 nsuubira okuba nga mpasizza ate oyinza n'okimugamba nga mukyali ba friends tetwagala kubeera mikwano n'abantu betugenda kufumbira oba abantu batwagala most of the times gwoba oyagala oyogere ku laavu ku I miss you waliwo ebintu bingi nnyo ebyomugaso bye mulina okwogerako okusinga I miss you and I love you you're the angel of this planet ate gwasingayo
naye kyakyogera I miss you talina kiragambu ddala he misses
leka akiteeke mu bikolwa. Kakati mba mukyayogera n'omugamba nti long term plans zo ze ziriwa myaka 5 weerabawa n'ogamba nti mu myaka 5 nirabawa nga tuzaddewo obwana awo akyogera mu kusaaga naye akyogedde mu plural akyogedde nti tujja kuba tuzaddeyo abaana ekitegeeza kutaddemu mu future ye alina waalaba tujja kuba tufumbiddwa ate n'ekirala manya omuntu gw'oli naye akkiririza mufumbo takkiririza mufumbo waliwo abantu abatakkiririza
nga ne waba akyogera okiwulira
agamba nti embaga bwawulira yakoze embaga nagamba ne bwe ziba miliyoni 3 azikasuse bukasuse ezo kati oyo azikozeemu ki ye ndizizimbyemu ennyumba oba yandiyongeddeko ogamba gwalinda kadaali gwalinda empeto otambule you walk down the aisle naye gw'oli naye si byalowooza nako okitegeera kati set boundaries mumanye nti kakati osuubira kuwasa mu bbanga ki nti mu myaka nga 3 kati ogambe weekubyemu ekifaananyi naawe weerabe weeteekemu ogambe nti njaamu mu future yoona omuntu bw'agamba emyaka 3 n'alinda emyaka 3 then bwagamba emyaka 3 biki bye tugenda okukola okubanga bitegeka ebbanga eryo naye abasaala abasinga abakaabya amaziga abagamba musajja ono anampasa ki ekigenda maaso teyasetinga boundaries naye ate obutonde budimandinga nti ebbanga liyiseeko eryandibadde erya commitment ogenda okulaba ngaoli abitabukiramu akaaba nokaaba nze abeewaffe maama wange ate senga yagambye bwati ate mikwano gyange gifumbirwa ate lwaki toyinaawo kyokolawo omusajja oba omulesa okubeera defensive
aliwo oli agamba kyoyogerako omukolo buko naye tuli ffenna tubadde ffenna emyaka 3 n'omwana tuyina
omwana yempeta esinga omwana kyekintu ekitugatta kyetukola ki omukyala kyayagala abasajja kye batamanyi abasajja tebali emotional oba abami tebali emotional omukyala ali emotional omukyala ayagala you intend omulowoozeeko ogambe nti kakati mulowoleza empete ekola kinene nnyo ku mukyala okusenga bwekola ku mwami omwami tali emotional wadde n'akatono era most of the times omusajja ajja kugamba nti nze mbaga njikola lwa mukyala lwakuba akyagala oba okitegeera naye akikola lwakuba afaayo ayagala kumusanyusa ate waliwo abaami abamu nga ddiini ekidimandinga nagamba nti nze okusinziira ku ddiini yange tulina kugenda mu muzikiti oba tulina kugenda mu kyaki yes ebiseera ebizibu kati ebyo byonna birowoozaako nogamba nti munnange nino muwa security kubanga abakyala bagala security era kyekisinga bw'oba nga tonaba muwasa abalaba nga tali secure bw'oba tonamuteekako engagement ring abalaba nga akyali awo afloatinga naawe osobola okulabayo abalala naye kasita ogimuteekako
gamba naye mwenyini nini asobola okugamba ono talina kyandaze mbuki ndi wa mugaso nnyo gyeri oli bwava eri n'agimukwanga
ate waliwo kikoze oli namala n'omuntu emyaka 4 omwana nagamba omusajja takumiitinga omusajja talina kyakola oli najja mu mwezi gumu nakulaga nti aguze engagement ring afukamidde amusabye obufumbo kati omukyala yenna lwakuba ali emotional kino alaba nga kisingako myaka giri 4 ate sigamba nti yali takwagala yali akwagala naye tewagezaako okustadinga muntu gw'oli naye kulaba kiruubirirwa kikyalina mu maaso ayagala obufumbo buli lwalaba bambi buno obugundi obubeera soap operas ezibeera ku TV abakabi amaziga abali mu mbaga n'omulaba nga naye akyamuse n'omulaba nga akoze eki munno tegeera kikyayagala bw'abanga kyayagala mugende ku level eddako oleme kusikattira
webale nnyo Hilda kati omulemu katono nnyo temuvaawo comments zammwe ku Facebook nziraba mpitirivu naawe ojja kukuba essimu otubuulire akyagaanye naawe omwami kiki ekikyakulemesezza okusaba mwana muwala gw'omaze naye emyaka 5 ali awo akulindiridde naye ogaanye omusaba obufumbo tukomawo
This one is for you, mama.
Turn moments into memories with our trusted internet. Airtel, the smartphone network.
Brave woman.
That's for me. That's for Jessica. That's for all the girls here. You will see, Miranda. You will see. You will pay for this. Who falls down first, Rasanjala?
Just wait. Are you accusing me of something?
I would be much calmer if you tell me who is your nephew.
But there's no problem. Oh, gosh.
Yeah, let me walk you out.
Excuse
I'm sorry,
me.
Wanda. I'm really sorry.
Bye.
No more hasty moves.
We have to wait for Russo to arrive, and that's it.
oli ku program mwasize mukyatuli ne Bahati Hilda twogera ku nsonga za proposal. Brian Babagini kirabira agamba tekirina bbanga lyankalakkalira naye era siraba nsonga lwaki omukazi aba papa n'ekirala omukyala yenna tegeeza ne nti era gwe oli mulaavu ekuli bubi ne weerimba nti era gwe laavu ekuli bubi gwe ne weesabira omusajja obufumbo ojja kulabibwa ng'omuntu omuluvu era atalina ssuubi wantu walala wonna era ekyo kiyinza okuviiramu okubonaabona mu bufumbo bwo. ayogedde ku kyembadde natera okubuuza bwe ndaba ye takisaba nze ne mmukyokooza ne mmusaba
anti kakati awo okumusaba mu butonde bwaffe ng'omukyala tolina kupasuwinga waliwo ebintu ebitali nakyo to us oba ebintu bye tutamanyidde oba ne mu buwangwa nga tekiriiwo nga tosobola agamba musajja nti njagala kuwasa oba njagala ompase tukugamba nti it's unheard of oba si kyekintu ky'oyinza okugamba nti kankole naye ate nga waliwo obuntu obutono nnyo obusobola okukola obuprompting omuntu okuba nga asobola okukirowoozaako oba n'otuuka ku level etegeera nti tekiriiyo n'osalawo oba okivaamu oba oguma n'obeeramu naye ate ng'ekyokugamba nti ngende ngamba omwami kubanga abakyala nga bwe nkugambye tuli emotional ekitegeeza buli kizibu kyenaafuna agamba nti ndaba nze yakuwasa ndaba nze yakugamba wali kyondowoozezaako wali si byoliko olinga mwana muto nkusindikiriza busindiikiriza olaba okwejjusa kwobeeramu buli ekitono ekibeerawo buli lwalwawo okugjeeka buli lwakola kubanga ensobi zibeerawo mu bufumbo oba zibeerawo mu relationship buli lwanakolanga ekintu ekitono nga weekanga ogamba nze yakyesuulamu naye ate bw'olinda oba n'omupromptinga olwolabeko nga bwegamba ndoza bagamba kutega kamasu bakola ki kugamba n'omutegaatega obuntu n'alaba nga talaba future ye nga tolimu ng'alaba nti bw'abeerawo nga toliiwo obulamu tebujja kuba bulungi omuteeka ku test kakati waliwo abaami nga ye tamanyi intentions zo jjukira twayogedde ku kwogera wali nga mutandika bw'oba nga toyogedde ng'otandika nomugamba nti njagala bufumbo obutukuvu twanjule tugende mu kkanisa oba tugende mu muzikiti oba mu ngeri yonna naye nze njagala bufumbo nga butukuvu okitegeera kakati omuntu ono osobola okutandika either omuyise ku mbaga mulina obubaga bwe mulinako oba mulina mikwano gyammwe emifumbo waliwo workshops ez'abafumbo waliwo okugamba ebintu ebyo byogezaako kakebe movie esobola okupromptinga omuntu oba nga mulaba movie olonda movie ng'okimanyi omulamwa gwayo kyeguliko mutudde mugiraba
oyo asangibwa ddala ng'alina ekigendererwa naye osanga oli bad boy muko ng'omutwala mu movie n'olowooza mu kye bakoze wali
bad boy okimanyi nti oba okimanyi nti bad boy nga bwe twayogera wano netugamba nti okwata ka project n'ogezaako ate omusajja ekirala kyatayagala kwe kumukyusa era yensonga lwaki oluusi batya nnyo commitment oba tebaagala nakuproposinga agamba nti bwe nnamuproposinga kati esaawa ezidde ewaka zikyuse bwe nnamuproposinga emikwano gyange ngisiibudde bye ate nga kibaawo nnyo waliwo abakyala bagamba nti kaakati abikola wano nga tukyali mu relationship bwana alimala okunteekako empeta alabye ajja kuba ate nga abakyala bakyewerera nnyo bakyogera ate abaami bakimanyi kati ekitegeeza agamba nti nze okunkyusa kansigalireyo gye mbadde bw'aba asobola okubeerawo abeerewo bw'aba tasobola kubeerawo agende
ate nga kituufu abakyala abamu osanga abantu nga babadde mu relationship okumala emyaka 7 nga batambula bulungi naye kasita proposing ne bakola embaga tebaweza na myaka 2 n'owulira nti
nebitabuka kugamba buli omu expectations zo zirisinga awo omusajja
bagamba munaffe tunoonya bunoonya mpeta
abakyala era kyekintu kyolina okukolako omwami kyanoonya mukyala consistency mu nature ye omusajja tayagala kubeera na muntu gwatamanyi oleero oli kino enkya oli kino totegerekeka yensonga lwaki abasajja abamu bajja ku testinga even with time bagambe nti omukyalo ono kandabe waabwe tunaakoma kandabe oba bwe mutega kino oba mwe mutega kiri ekyensimbi akibuuse tayagala si gold digger tayagala sente kati kamutestinge abeewaffe abaagaliza bulungi bwe mugamba nti abeewaffe oba waliwo sisita wange atalina school fees ye muntu asobola okugamba nti tusobola okumukwatirayo ekitundu oba tusobola okumuweerera maama mulwadde asobola okufaayo n'agamba nti banaye tugende tulabe ku maama nti oba mulwadde okitegeera baagala that consistency sigamba nti oyogera kirala ate okola kirala kati bwobanga gwoli naawe aga naaga omusajja omuluisizaawo naye ali mu process agamba naye kiki kino kyenkomitingako osanga waliyo omulala asinga gwe mba nnindako ono kagira mbeezabeezaawo ensonga lwaki abakyala abamu agamba nti mbadde n'omwami ono okumala emyaka 5 ekyo kyo kibakaabya myaka 5 naye lwetwawukanye myezi 2 awasizza
aba ayinayo omuntu omulala already
kiyinza n'okuba by the way nga yali talina muntu mulala naye omuntu oli gwafunye ayina all the attitudes amuwa emirembe tamwerippako takola ki kwegamba amulaga nti you can come to me whenever you want oba okitegeera wendi nkwagala nkufaako gamba nakola oli osanga byeyatakola ate kiyinza n'okuba nga kimu ng'oli yakola ebirala byonna nga omwenda naye ng'ekimu kyamulema naye ng'omusajja oyo ekyo ekimu kyasibiriddeko amakanda
aba yali tamwagala kubanga okwagala okutuufu munno omwagalirayo mu mbeera ze
anti kakati kyekyo era kyenjagala ekya imperfections okubanga omuntu alina weaknesses ze omuntu akwagala ajja kukwagalirayo ne imperfections naye ate kisinzira omwami ono akuze kyenkanawa ate mweteefuteefu n'ekyokuwasa akirina mu mutwe gwe waliwo okubanga omuntu gwe twogerako omuntu muto naye omuntu bwabanga akuze ate yakulira mu makanga bwetu bulijjo bwembagamba ebintu byetulaba nga tukula omwana bw'amanya nti omusajja akula n'awasa n'abeera n'amaka n'azaala abaana naye kyaba aluubirira mu bulamu kakati ekitegeeza omusajja ono bw'abanga ekyo kyali kiba kimwanguyira nnyo okubanga akomitinga gy'oli naye ate bw'aba okwagala weekuli okwagala kuzibikirira byonna kugumiikiriza byonna era bw'aba akulanga waliwo imperfections agamba nti leka bano abato gamba ono alina imperfection kangendeyo omulala agenda akola jaribu agenda okulaba nga nekyayagala takifunye naye omuntu bw'abanga akuze mu bwongo nga mweteefuteefu akutunuulira waliwo abaami abamu omwami omu eyansesa yalaba omukyala alina imperfections amulese agenze ku mulala bwe atuuka eri nga noli alina imperfections naye olwokuba kati akuzeekuzeeko agamba naye omanyi kaŋŋumire ku ono teri atuukiridde kaŋŋumire ku ono kati olaba nti genze osanga oli yali alinze empeta naye ng'empeta tejja naye olwokuba kati omusajja atuuse ku kigera nga akuze ategeera kikyayagala ne bwakulabamu obunafu agamba nti tujja bwogerako nga tugenda mu maaso naye tebusinna gwe mulala gwe ngenda kulaba atuukirira
waliwo n'ensonga endala gye ndowooza eganisa abasajja okuproposinga mangu gwe omukyalo ojja mu bulamu bwe n'okola ng'omufumbo byonna byateekeddwa okukola n'agamba kati byonna mbifuna byonna bikola kiki ate nnyongeramu kino kyengenda n'okuspendingako sente
agamba ofuna amata naye nga tonaba nakugula nte kugamba nte siyiyo naye ng'ofuna amata kugamba ekyo abakyala abamu bakikola nnyo as a desperate move okubanga alowooza nti bwe naakola bino byonna omusajja lwe naamwagala naye jjukira kyonna kitandika mu boundaries wali mu kusooka bw'obeera ng'oli desperate ng'omukyala ogenda kukola buli kakolomooni konna naye togenda kutuuka ku kyoyagala naye ate bw'oba ng'omuntu omusetingidde ebbanga n'omugamba nti mu bbanga bwe riti mu myaka 2 tujja kuba nga tufumbiddwa kati mu myaka gino 2 tugenda kukola ki tugenda kutandikira kuzimba ennyumba tugenda kutandikira maybe kula ttaka tugenda kutandikira tukole tusavinge tukole kwegamba nga mwina plan olaba bw'ojja mu plan ye ate n'ekirala n'omugamba naye omanyi tetugenda kubeera ffenna ngenda kubeera gyendi naawe obeere gy'oli bwe tumala okufumbirigana tulyoke tubeere wamu oba n'omugamba nti ojja kukyalanga ewange nange nkyalenge ewuwo naye tetugenda kubeera wamu n'ekyemirimu ne mukyogerako expectations z'abantu za njawulo ajja kujja olaba ekisinga okudisappointinga abantu akoze buli kimu omukyala n'agamba banaye kiki simukoledde nga mumuyonjezza nga nkoze eki oba okitegeera
naye ng'oba oliawo ye sikyayagala
oba oliawo nga si kyekyali kimukwatako ennyo okitegeera omusajja yenna ayagala omuntu amufaako naye ate teweemalirayo wenna kolayo bu prompts obwo funa obudde if it's to cook osobola n'okufumbira ewuwo n'omugamba nti let's have a meal
nakimanya nti amanyi okufumba
nakitegeera nti omanyi okufumba oba si kyekyo olumu oliawo omulabye peesa teriteredde olikwata olitunge olitereze ogambe nti omukyala nno ategeera mugenza
mukyadde muleeteeka n'agifumba n'enjiryanga on a daily basis
kitegeeza kiba kikola bwe mutambulako awantu musanze obwana biki okasitudde okafuddeko okoze ekyagamba nti ono omukyala ajja kulera abaana naye ate sikwemalayo neweefuula sijja kiyita nnyo nga mukozi naye ate neweemalayo nnyo omufumbira buli lunaku omwoleza okola ki okujjako nga mutuusa kubanga waliwo bannaffe abakohabitinga ate nabo tetujja baleka waweeru watooke eno bw'obanga mutuuse ku kiseera ng'ogamba nti owange jangu tubeere fembi wadde nga tetuli bafumbo nga gw'okkiriziganya ekintu kyonna nkisuula mu ngalo zo olina okusalawo eri obulamu bwo naye salawo omanye nti ekyo kyekikukolera kinakutuusa gy'oyagala oba tekikutuuse gy'oyagala kati bw'obanga gwe the cohabiting type omwami akuyisa agambe nti jangu tubeere ffenna naawe manya boundaries zo ogenda kukola buli kimu ye njawulo kyenebeerawo wanaakuwasa ne kati ekitegeeza tewajja kuba njawulo ekitegeeza jjagamba nti kyenina mu nju ate kati nafuna kyabwere kyenina mu nju ate kakati nkole ntya ngende era nyanjule mpase okitegeera so okwefumbiza is not the best option naye ate n'okukola byonna is not the best option
mulageko nti obisobola naye tobimuwa abifune buli kaseera
byonna tomuwa bbeetu eryo weerekerewo that time ey'okuba nga abimiisinga gamba nti naye emmere eyo naye ate anaalabika atya nga nze okuse naye ku makya ye tunaakeera tutya ye tunaasula tutya mu buliri obumu muwe okwesunga okwo mu mutima let that adrenaline abeere ng'asobola okiteeka mu priority position naye ate bw'oba ng'oli naye ekitegeeza omulimu gwe gugenda kubeera priority olaba bwakola n'akola naye nga gwe takulowoozaako
okay webale nnyo Hilda essimu tuziguddewo kuba tubuulire kyolowooza ku mulamwa ogwaleero Shamira Katengwa hello bulungi sebo wasuza otya kale naawe gyebaleko oli ku NTV live mu studio yogerako ku ddoboozi sebo olowooza bulowooza
namala okwogera naye ndowooza ati yetageti yange y'okuwasa naye nga empisa esinga obungi alina ekiseeso z'okwagala kunyingiriza nnyo waliwo be nali nabo naye nga abalekayo naye kati ono maze naye ebbanga tono naye nga ndowooza ati njagala okumpa amagezi olowooza nsobola
ogambye alina empisa mbi
empisa zaalina teziringa z'abalala bayatera nnyo okubeera
kale sebo
obeera abo biryogeddeko kati obuseera bimugenzeeko abantu obudde bugenze bali balina empisa nga nnungiko naye
n'abaleka kakati afunyeyo omulala agamba nti ayagala n'empisa zembi naye ate nina byenjagala okukyusa mu ye
kyokka ayagala omuwe ku magezi all gets back to him wangi sebo hello kale sebo nawe weebale okay abaami mukube mutubuulire lwaki mulwawo ffe tubanyiiza ffe tubeesembereza ennyo hello wangi sebo tukwaniriza nnyo oli ku TV kyova olaba tompulira hello kendeeza eddoboozi lya TV eyo hello kale tufune omulala oyo akyali ku TV eyo bwokuba kendeeza eddoboozi lya TV eyo tubuliziganye nga tuyita mu ssimu so si mu TV hello wangi sebo tukwaniriza nnyo nkale sebo
nkale sebo
Kale webale nnyo ssebo ayogedde ekyo byo kye tugamba ebyomukwano bino tebitegeerekeka birimu omukisa
tebirina formula nti kakati oyitira wano oyitira wano oyitira wano actually kye tukola kugaidinga bugaidinzi omuntu kumugamba nti kino kyekiriwo gwe ne weeronderawo n'osalawo kubanga buli omu alina path ye mwatambulira
ati bano ayita okuba beesanga nga bombi nga time eri ready ng'oli naye yamusanga ali ku time nga kyekiseera anoonya oba naye ali ku pressure from family oba naye mwenyini nga kimulumiriza nakamba obutuufu kampa sensetulinge
kubanga okimanyi omwami bw'aba omuto ne bakugamba ne bakuutira ne bagamba togenda na muntu agenda mangu mangu ize come ize go bw'obeera omuto oba okikkiririzaamu nejjukira bw'omala okulaba abakyala ab'enjawulo omala n'ogamba naye n'okula mu birowoozo omala n'ogamba naye nedda omuntu nyinza omusanga ng'ali ready ate ng'akimanyi nti bwe siibeere naye oluusi nja kumuddukako oba bw'atabeere nange tewali kijja n'atwala chansi ye n'agamba kaneweeyo simanyi kigenda maaso simanyi kigenda kuddako bw'aba omufere anaaba mufere naye kaneweeyo
ekyo nakyo kibaayo omwami mu byali anoonya yali agala omukyala ng'ali strong mu buli nga mu nsonga ezo ez'ekitanda ng'ali perfect kati omuwala no bwe yamusanga nga ali that n'agamba ebirala tujja kulaba
ebirala tujja kulabira eyo andi osanga n'agenda okulaba nga n'ebirala birungi so buli omu alina path ye ja following nga tewali formula eri awo.
Okay, hello. Kale sebo nawe gyebale kokendeza ku ddoboozi lya TV. Oli ku NTV naye sooka okendeza eddoboozi lya TV yo. Hello. Kale nawe weebale kulaba. Tugezaako. Okay. Okay, weebale nnyo ssebo. Okimanyi Buhilda waliwo abantu nga tabamanyi mugaso gwa kufumbirika. Kyannaku.
Nga bubalowooza munnange mutadde mu kadduukulu.
Era ekyo ojja kifunako na mulamwa mulamba tulabe. Ne mu mateeka munnyini. Biki bye bagamba lwaki oteekeddwawo okufumbira naye katuseke. Tuwummulemu katono nnyo temuvaawo mugenda kudda mu kuba essimu mu kitundu. Ekisembayo ne messages za Facebook ngenda kwongera okuzisoma tovaawo.
Ekifo ekimu kissa wamusu n'ekyalo ekiweddeko abamanye bakiraza mumwa. Tugenda kutuuka gy'oli oyogere naffe ebikwata ku kyalo kyo, embeera mw'okolera, ebyobufuzi, ebyobulamu n'ensonga endala nnyingi. ebyogerwa tebiyita tuusa eddoboozi lyo yogera naffe buli lwakuna butereevu ku NTV akawungeezi.
On the next episode.
My dear father,
Yes.
what is the answer for 4 minus 5?
Hey, this is very easy.
This strengthens all the abdominal muscles. Childbirth becomes easy.
I am exhausted. Babu has asked me to grind all this wheat. I feel as if I should run away from this house right now and relax at a spa. I wore my new sari today so fondly, but she has made me sit here too long.
Okola kyattendo nnyo kwekuumira ku NTV. Rita Nsubuga agamba, I no longer believe in marriage. It has many mateeka, bukwakulizo, abafumbo bakola, but many are tied up in unhappy marriages since they are already vowed. Omukwano omuntu ayagala munne awatali mu mukwano omuntu ayagala munno awatali mateeka gonna bw'owulira nga kiganye ng'okita. Nze saagala kwesiba ku bantu. I get bored and tired quickly. Yesu talina gwe yawasa ne kitaawe bw'atyo.
Ate oyo yakoowa nnyo. Oyo yakoowa nnyo.
Ye tayagala kimwesiba.
Tayagala bintu by'amateeka. Kakati olaba n'abaami abasinga bwe batyo. Ng'oyo bw'agambye nti saagala kintu kiriko bukwakulizo, kiriko mateeka, ndi ku bunkenke, ndikola ki. Lwaki abantu nga bw'obeera mu relationship lwaki temutwala nkolagana eyo mpaka mu bufumbo? Kyekiri kye wayogeddeko. Obeera mu relationship myaka 5 buli kimu kitambula bulungi, olumala okuteekako empeta buli kimu nekitabuka n'ofuuka ekirala. Naye bw'oba ng'otutte nga bwe ntera okugamba abantu ne mu marriage mubeera mu dating. Nga bwe mu dating ne mwetwala ku bukofi, mugenze for cinema, mugenze ko out mu park, mukoze eki, beera mukwano gwa munno, mutegeere kikyayagala. Mu studying manya nti kakati ono ayagala kino, ono ayagala kiri. Waliwo abantu nga amanyi munne ne bw'aba agenda kunyiga agamba kati ekyo kigenda munyiiza gwelindako. N'anyiga nga ne bw'anyiga amanyi engeri y'omukwatamu. N'amanya nti abasajja bagala nnyo ku massaging ego yaabwe oba ekitiibwa kitayagala kityoboola. Kati gwe bw'oba ogenda kumuboggolera mu bantu, oba ogenda kumuvuma, oba ogenda kukola ki, ekyo si kyayagala. Kati omanya nti munnange yeetaga kukwata mpola mpola. Nemulaga nti kyakoze ensobi naye ate mwagalirayo, ate musaamu ekitiibwa, sigenda kulekerawo okumulaba nga mwami wange. Kakati muno mutegere kikyayagala, tebeera mukwano gwe. Bw'obeera mukwano gw'omuntu oba toyagala mukosa, oba toyagala kumuhatinga, oba toyagala kumukola kintu kikyamu kyonna. Ate nga mubeera mukolagana museka. Wali obaddeko awo emboozi neekubulanga oli ne munno gw'oyagala. Naye ate wembeera ab'omukwano mutandikira akantu katono nnyo. N'ayiseewo awo musobola ogana akagattaako ogenda okulanga emboozi etandise. Lwakuba muli ba mukwano. Omukwano gubulamu nnyo mu bufumbo.
Essimu kweziri kuba tubuulire kiki ky'olowooza ku mulamwa ogwaleero. Hilda tugambye ebbanga liyinza obutaba specific. N'ogamba nti myezi 5.
Ebbanga lyo tewali asobola kulimba era tewali asobola kusalirawo.
Kiri eri mu emitima gyammwe. Omukyala bw'ensalawo nti njagala kufumbira mu mwaka kati komewo. Hello? Wangi nnyabo tukwaniriza nnyo. Yes, Jackie. Nkaali nawe weebale nnyo. Kale Jackie.
Okay.
Kale Jackie.
Kale mkwano.
Akola Juba.
Ono yabeera ggulu. Long distance relationship. Naye jjukira bwe mwali mwekwana mwali kati osanga ekiseera ekyo kyabayitako kati bali already in a relationship nayagala kumanya oli mulaga ntya mujogerako naye ntya mwa prompts zitya okumulaga nti njagala kumpasa naye mwogera ku simu ekitegeeza bwe mba mwogera ku simu musobola okwemanya ennaku zino communication yalongooka. Osobola okwogera omuntu ne ku video, osobola okwogera omuntu ne ku simu, kwegamba ne bw'oba oyogera osobola okumanya omuntu n'omanya nti kakati ono kikyayagala agambye ngenzeko out, akugambye ngenze wa mama wange, agambye ngenze olunaku lw'engeri gye lugendamu ogenda omanya omuntu nti kino kyayagala. Oli osobola n'okwogera naye n'ava ku simu ng'anyiize n'agikuulako, oba si kyekyo nakuwa silent treatment for a week takupiikinga, ogenda omanya omuntu nti ono omuntu bw'ati nasobola okubeera naye, sisobole kubeera naye. Ate era bw'omuba mwogera ku simu totya, abakyala batya nnyo okwogera naye omugamba nti naye twayogerako ku ky'obufumbo, ku ky'okwanjula, emyaka gigenda, twagala kusetolinga down, twagala tubeere nga tetukyalina kiyimirira mu kkubo lyaffe, ndaba twandikijjeewo ne tukola ebirala ebiddako. N'olaba munno kyakuddamu oba nakugamba nti kakati esente tezinaba kuwera, naye bw'oba omwagala ekitegeeza oba osobola okugumiikiriza, era ekyo kiri mu choice yo. Omala omu-evaluatinga n'olaba nti naye omuntu ono commitment ddala agyagala mu byonna bye tubadde twogera, bbanga lino lye tubadde twogera, ate naye kirala ali willing okusetolinga nange wadde siri perfect, kubanga naye mumanyi tali perfect. Omanye nti engeri gye yakuzibwamu kiki kyayagala kyennyini, ogenda okulaba nga olina kwogumidde n'ogamba naye omuntu ono si mubi, kamugumiikirize sente zirabike tusobole okugenda mu bazadde.
Abantu beekwasa nnyo ekintu ekyo ekya sente. Musobola ogenda oyinza okubeera committed n'omusaba ne mufumirwa n'atwala mu bazadde ne mwemanya ne mubeera mwenna n'ogendera ku kisuubuzo ekyo nti bwe zinajja osanga tunaagenda ne batuteekako empeta ne tukuba ebirayiro byaffe naye nga kyemikolo kakati ekisookera ddala ye willingness y'omuntu okukola kino. Jjukira omwami omugambye olwala mukyala nagamba naye ne bwe banga ebintu ebyokwanjula tebiweze nange kanyongereko byennyongera. Omukyala n'okebera ebintu by'omwami nga tebiweze n'omugamba nti twongeremu kino twongeremu kino tugende. Lwaki? Kubanga olabye willingness eyo wadde alina esente ntono agambye nti nkwagala nina okwanjula. Bw'olaba willingness eyo n'ogamba nti nange kankwatire kuba mbadde nsevinga oba nina akalimu kampa ku sente kanteekemu byenteekamu tugende. Bwe mbanga ddala mwenna muli ku level ya wansi nnyo ennaku zino abazadde bategeera abali ku level nga balaba nti ensi etabuse. Bw'obanga osazeewo okufuna mwana munno n'omutwala mu bazadde n'omugamba nti maama ono ye muntu wange naye tetunatuuka ku level egamba nti tujja kukola kinene nnyo, nakugamba nti mwana wange mukole ekintu ekitono ogende emirembe. Bwe muli bamufunye mulikomawo ate naye nga mulina omukisa gw'abazadde, ekyo nakyo kikola. Naye abantu bagadde nnyo okukola ekintu ekinene, ate abantu abamu beekwasa I want to do something massive naye nga willingness teriiwo wadde wadde. Olumala okikola n'akubaganya ku banne mikwano gye ogenda okulaba nga yeebulankanya
nga tebikyaliwo ng'obufumbo buweddewo.
Myezi 7.
Yes, naye willingness ekola kinene nnyo.
Okay, Yahya Junior Kingdom agamba bakyala muno mu Uganda tebalina mukwano, balina wallet love. Osobola okwana omukazi. Abasajja bagamba nnyo ekintu ekyo abakyala tebalina love. Baba bakijjawa. Kakati ali ku simu. Hello. Wanji sebo tukwaniriza nnyo. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Kale naawe gyebale koyongerako katana ku ddoboozi. Teesa tuwulire. Nasuzeeyo ssebo naye wasuze bulungi ndowooza. Avuddeko. Abasajja beekwasa nnyo mbw abakazi tebalina love. Ani abamazeeko love?
Nti wallet love. Kakati nekino ekyabakyala bano kye bagambye actually according to research, waliwo research eyafulumako recently eyansese nnyo nga abasajja baagala nnyo commitment okusinga abakyala. Naye nga abakyala ensonga ze bawa abaami babakyayiza omukwano, kwegamba bawulira nga abaami tebategeerekeka. Naye ate jjukira kiri sayidi zombi. Abaami bagamba tebategeera abakyala ate n'abakyala tebategeera baami. Naye abaami bali willing okugezaako kubanga bo bali interested in settling down. Naye abakyala batuuka ne bagamba nti naye omanyi ebyobufumbo mbikooye wakiri mbeerawo nzekka ng'oli munnaffe gwe twasoose okusoma ne Yesu teyawasa ne taata we bw'atyo n'agamba nti nze nkooye sikyayagala oba okitegeera. Ate ne wabaawo bano abatandikiriza mu mukwano oba abayiseeko mu bintu ebingi n'aba nga akwagalako ky'olina. Bebo ba bad girls akwagalako ky'olina naye takwagalako mukwano mutuufu. Naye ate bulijjo nkugamba nti test of time eteelinga ate omuntu ono akufuddeko waliwo akunonako ssente naye takufuddeeko bw'omugamba ndi mulwadde takubirako kasimu kugamba nti ate oli otya wagenzeko mu ddwaliro olidde ki leero abeewamwe bali batya bw'osanga omwami alina abaana wadde n'okumubuuza nti oba abaana bo bali batya omuntu afaayo ye muntu atekinga omuntu nga bw'ali bw'oba omukkiriza nga bw'ali mutwale nga bw'ali era omufeeko nga bw'ali so ekyo kyekibulawo naye nga abakyala wallet love gye bali naye ate waliwo n'abalina omukwano ogwannamaddala ng'ate balungi bampisa nga baagala kusetolinga.
Okay, Robert Meti agamba alabako basics kubanga tosobola kumanya muntu n'omumalayo. She will hide one side ogambe nti yono bw'omussa ewaka few weeks najjayo fist tukulaba kukyala nga kiro toyagala kusiibula kumbe ewaka omugole yakufuukidde engolo.
Ezo z'empisa z'obwedda zetwogerako okweka obuyisayisa obubi naye kankubula empisa embi era teyekweka emala nevaayo yensonga lwaki olusi twadvisinga abantu twalako kukaseera tekina kyekihatinga wadde nga buli omu alina chansi ye waliwo abagutandisa amangu omukwano ate negulama naye ate abagutandise amangu negutalama be bangi kubanga batategedde munne buyisa bukola ki ogenda okulaba owebase naye ogusoose afuluuse ennyo n'ogamba naye banaye kino nakigumiikiriza ogenda okulaba ali aswankula ogenda okulaba abeewabwe tebakwagala balina mulala gwe baagala oba baagala mufunira mukyala mulala ogenda okulaba kati ogenda opimapima motuuka ku levo ng'osobola okusalawo ekyenkomeredde n'ogamba ono nja mwagalayo nga bw'ali nja mugumiikiriza obufumbo kambuyingiremu oba n'ogamba nti kino sijja kigumiikiriza kankite kakigende ensonga lwaki tugamba omuntu twalako kabanga naye ate nga si kyenkyenkomeredde buli omu alina engeri gyakwatamu ebintu bye.
Okay, kadaba waliwo omulala alina kyayagala otugambako simu. Hello. Wanji Sebo tukwaniriza nnyo ku program. Wanji Sebo. Hello, tukuwulira. Ali ku TV. Yes, Abdul. Kendeeza eddoboozi lya TV tuwuliziganye bulungi. Avuddeko. Hello. Yes, abo tukuwulira. Avuddeko. Senkumba Ronaldo wanansasezza mukasita wabaawo ssente ne wiiki tewera kuba abakazi bali after money.
Atala misconception eyo abaami abasinga balowooza abakyala bali after money naye ate n'ekirala kyolina okulowoozaamu mu buwangwa bwaffe oba ne mu butonde omukyala alina kufuna security mu relationship omwami alina kufuna kitiibwa mu relationship kakati omukwano ng'ogamba nti teguliiko ssente bw'obanga ozirina nga munno omulabirira siraba lwaki yandibadde nnyo goldiga ate ng'ayagala kujja mu bujja
ate ne bw'oba olina ssente tekitegeeza genda omukuba ekiboko kubanga olina ssente
tekitegeeza kukumutyoboola kumala so omukyala kyayagala security ate n'ekitala tekina kyekikugjako okubanga omukyala omulabirira omuyisa bulungi tekina kyekikugjako era abakyala basinga kyebaagala kati bw'obanga kyotaminganga wallet oba wallet love nga obala kwati oyagala mugende mu restaurant osasula ezizo naye asasula ezize ogenda kulaba nga agamba nti naye omuntu ono bwe tunaagenda mu bufumbo bwe naaba nga sikyasobola kukola bwe naaba ndi lubuto lukuze sikyasobola kukola ananfaako ebyo omukyala byatunuulira so ate naawe togenda nga weewaana ng'osamaansamansa ssente.
Okay. Kansembyeyo Shamira Katengo agamba abasajja abamu si balambulukufu bulungi kubanga ayinza okulinza ebbanga eggwanvu kyokka nga tagenda kuwasa ate nga takubulira mazima kyokka nga ye alina ddiiri yakufuna muntu mulala kale n'olinda oluusi neyandibadde akutwala n'omugoba nga weekuumidde munno kumbe kiwaani kale okulinda ekiyitiridde nakwo okutama at least omuntu yandibadde clear ne munne yandibadde clear munne nafuna go ahead.
Kati waliwo abantu nga tagenda kugamba nti sigenda kuwasa oba sikulaba mu birungi kati ensonga lwaki tugambye olina okutuuka wootuuka mu ddala mu mukwano n'evaluatinga n'ogamba nti gye twatandikira ne wano wetuli kino ekintu naasobola okugenda nakyo mu maaso abamu ku ffe tetwagala nnyo kuva mu kintu nga tulaba tekiikole twagala nnyo okukisigalamu ate ne tukikaabiramu oba ne tutandika kwemulugunya okukakana ng'otandise movement. Naye kasita omala okubalirira omutango n'omanya nti guno omutango nsobola ogusasula, nkyasobola okulinda ne bwe giba myaka 2. Ye okimugambyeko akubuulidde ebbanga, bw'aba takubuulidde ebbanga kikyalowooza, yakkiririza mu kuwasa, akkiririza mu kubeera n'amaka, anakukkiriza bw'otyo nga bw'oli oba asuubirayo omulala asingako. Kati ebintu ebyo byonna bw'omala okubirowoozaamu nga bwe nkugamba it's a personal choice okulinda. Tewali agenda kugamba, sigenda kugamba nti alindako emyaka 5 nedda, sigenda kugamba nti alindako emyezi 6 nedda, naye weewe time frame ogambe nti okusinziira mu budde buno ne buno ye gwe ekiruubirirwa kiki. Abantu abamu tugwa mu mukwano nga tetulina kiruubirirwa. Bw'obanga gwe tageti yo yakwesanyusaamu ekitegeeza ogenda gafula tolina nnyo bbanga lyeweewa. Naye ate bw'obanga oli mukyala n'ogamba nti by 28 latest nja kuba nfumbiddwa, oba by 29 oba by 30 okitegeera. Kati bw'oyogera ne munno omakinga sure nti naye akimanyi amanyi obwetaavu bwo. Kakati bw'oba tewoyogedde ku bwetaavu bwo oli tagenda kubeera mind reader, tagenda kubeera magician nti agenda kukisoma. Oluusi naawe ajja kulaba nga bwe twatandise n'ogamba you're too comfortable, n'agamba kanjira mulekerayo seetawaanya, kanjira mulekerayo gy'ali. So naawe olina okumanya ki ky'oyagala. So ekyo ekyokulinda kiri mu mikono gyo. Studying a situation, olabe omuntu bw'olaba nga talina gy'akutwala. Bw'oba olaba ng'olina ne by'obuusabuusa mu mukwano ogwo, waliwo okuba ng'olina by'obuusabuusa bingi nnyo, n'olwokuba oyagala empeta banayita ogenda mpeta. Bw'oba ogenze down the aisle n'ogamba I do, there is no coming back. Ate era ne bw'ofulumayo oba oyokyeddwa oba waliwo ebintu ebitagenda kugenda
nayagala okuddamu kukuba olina process endala gy'olina okuddamu
buto. Abantu abazze kugamba bintu bingi nnyo 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 byeraliikiriza omutima gw'ensonga lwaki abantu bagamba nti nabivaamu naye sigenda kubiddamu
nkoye ndi retired general kiyingiremu nga tebankola
nga tewali kibankola. So making sure nti ebyo byonna obiteeka into consideration osobola okukola okusalawo okutuufu, oba olinda oba obivaako oba omugamba nti katwewe ebbanga mwaka gumu. Mu mwaka gumu guno wekinaba tekikoleddwa tukole tutya nti ekitegeeza kijja kuba tekikyagenda mu maaso, naawe omanye waawe okulaga.
Naye ng'ate naawe totuula n'otuula n'olinda munna akole ki buli kaseera abenga
n'okunaaginga okwo ate empeta ate
bafumbiddwa. Olumu bw'olaba si byaliko osalewo nti nsobola omugumikiza mu mbeera yaffe ne bwe tuba tetufumbiddwa, I can keep around, naye abeerawo ng'akulinze kaninde nabo baana ngambako akantu bw'otamugamba nga naye akitambulizaawo. Byebyo nno ebyolwaleero tuddemu nate enkya mbadde ne Bahati Hilda. Esimu ye eri 757 117 075 17 mutera okumpeeza message. Nze siri kansula nja kuwa namba ya Hilda yeeyo mukubire omubuuze ky'omubuuza. Tujja kubeera lumu ne session nga mutuwandiikira oba mukuba okubuuza kizibu kyonna, tetujja kuba na patikira mulamwa kibuzibu kyonna abenga akuddamu. Musibe bulungi, nze Farida mweraba.
Indeed, Dettol Soap's non-stop protection formula has the power of Dettol, which gives non-stop protection from germs for 24 hours. Dettol, be 100% sure.
NTV, turning on the world.
Stay closer for longer. 12 hours fresh breath with Close-Up Deep Action. Discover the new look of Close-Up Deep Action. Your refreshing close-up now in a new look.
The Uganda Youth Network, together with Great Lakes Institute for Strategic Studies and NTV Uganda, brings you the Situation Room Uganda. Join us as we discuss eternal democracy of political parties from Gulu District on 4th July 2015. Guest speakers include Ojara Mapinduzi, LC5 Chairman, Gulu, FDC. Okidi Christopher, former aspirant MP, Agago District, DP. Irene Ayo, MP aspirant, Aswa County, NRM. Odong Joffrey, Huramo, Uganda. The debate is free for all. Be part of the debate and influence policy in Uganda. Connect with the Situation Room social platforms on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube.
Brave woman.
That's for me. That's for Jessica. That's for all the girls here. You will see, Miranda. You will see. You will pay for this. Who falls down first, Angela?
Just wait. Are you accusing me of something?
I would be much calmer if you tell me who is your nephew.
But there's no problem. Oh, gosh.
Yeah, let me walk you out.
Excuse
I'm sorry,
me.
Wanda. I'm really sorry.
Bye.
No more hasty moves. We have to wait for Russo to arrive, and that's it.
This program is rated R15. It is for ages 15 and up. It may contain strong violence, nudity, and coarse language.
One hell of a way to spend Christmas. We're on the south side of Washington. Mulcahy! Sir! Secure the sidewalk. No one in out. Yes, sir.
Got a present for you, pig!
Damn you! Let the children go! Damn you! Let the children go! Negotiator. God damn it, Jack, I'm talking to you. The last time you pulled this John Jitterbug popcorn antique out shit, people lost body parts. Now you go in there and it's your badge.
Jack, I know as mayor of this great metropolis, you and I've had our little tiff, but this is the lieutenant governor.
Later, here's what I call. When the governor gets here, call me.
Slater's attempted to enter. Do not let him in. Repeat, do not let him in.
Piece of cake. Hey, you want to be a farmer? Here's a couple of acres. Decker, the next one I'll hurt.
Check 5. There's an officer in the building. I say again, there's a plainclothes